final hooter goes, and you see it in the faces, the relief, the joy, the realisation that they're playing in a grand final 7 days later, 80 minutes away from picking up the biggest trophy in the game.
That was the Leeds Rhinos' victory song. You could see just how much it meant to them after that victory against the Catalan Dragons last Friday. But will they get one more chance to sing it this year? Before the battle starts for real,
The fight for column inches.
It's part of being in big games and something you should enjoy doing. You should enjoy doing this every time because it means you're going to be involved in a big game on Saturday night.
Do you think you can use press conferences or days like this to get one over the opposition? A bit of gamesmanship, perhaps?
Well, slightly, but, you know, I don't think it really matters that much, you know. At the end of the day, if I'm going to start calling out a Leeds player's name or slagging someone off, I think, in a sense, it's going to give them extra motivation.
Back to their comfort zone and doing what they do best. We've been given special permission to come down and film this training session. The lads are going through the same warm-up, the same drills, the same moves, as they do every week. The only thing that's going to change this week is the game plan.
There's a lot to be done on our side. All the shirts have got to be embroidered and all the shorts have got to be named. The lads now are very pedantic about how well the shirts fit them and how well the shorts fit them. You know, a good job we've not got a dressing room full of mirrors, else we'd never get them on the pitch.
Saints know Leeds inside out and vice versa, so what will give them the tactical edge?
I don't think there's any real fancy tactic that you can use. It's probably just making sure you play the game as much as you can down the other end of the field.
and the tactics this weekend, what will they be?
Can you ask another question?
And that's why everybody wants a piece of the action.
But what's going to give one team that winning edge? Could it come down to something as simple as motivation? Inspiration can come from many places, from great speeches to great sporting moments. What's going to motivate you this week?
We want to get the performance right, but ultimately it's to lift that big trophy.
The motivation's there is just to cap the year, you know, with a good performance and a victory, and have those thoughts sort of lingering in your mind throughout the pre-season.
How important is what you eat and what you drink?
It's major important. If you're not eating the right stuff, it's like having a Ferrari and putting the wrong stuff in. I think you've got to look after your body from week 1 to week 28. It's no good changing your routine now. You've got to get in the right stuff, the right proteins, and then nearer to the match, you carb up a little bit, ready for the game.
Routine's there for a reason, so you can get the best out of yourself each week, and it kind of be silly to change it, you know, just for one game.
It's an experience that you've strived to get to for 12 months, so you've got to enjoy that as well. You can't try to pretend it isn't what it is. It's the biggest spectacle of the year, and you've got to enjoy that as well.
The buzzword is routine.
As they build up for this game, they'll do nothing out of the ordinary.
Well, almost.
The 2009 Super League Man of Steel, Brett Hodgson.
What do you find tonight a distraction like for the grand final on Saturday?
No, you know, there's plenty of time to get ready for the grand final on Saturday. You know, it's probably not ideal, but you know, it won't affect the performance or the game on Saturday in any way. I don't think.
It's good for everybody who supported and the sponsors throughout the game, and it's good everyone gets together.
There we are then, the end of an extraordinary week where both teams have done all they can to keep things as ordinary as possible.
When the players walk out of this tunnel and enter the arena, to hearing the whistle go, they will all want to play the game of their lives.
Well, in February, 14 teams in Super League had a dream, and that was to be here tonight. Leeds and St Helens have led the way for most of the season, fitting really then that they are the two who have made it to Old Trafford. So for a third year in a row, it's Leeds and Saints for the right to call themselves the champions of the Super League. And this is how they made it to the Theatre of Dreams. 4 weeks ago, Leeds and Saints did what they were expected to do, win their first games. Hull KR and Huddersfield lived to fight another day. Wakefield and Castleford bowed out. The eventual grand finalists had their feet up the following week as Catalan Dragons and Wigan battled to phase 3. And then last weekend, the Rhinos and the Saints qualified for Old Trafford with thrilling wins. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now it all comes down to this. The biggest night of the year, and Leeds aiming for an unprecedented third title in a row. Saints, having lost the last 2 grand finals, aiming to repeat their triumph of 2006. If they don't, by the way, it'll be the first time in 6 years they've ended a season without a trophy. This is it then for these two sides, and it's vital that you have your big guns fit, ready and primed for a grand final. But as Bill Arthur can tell us now, one of St Helens' biggest stars is struggling.
That's been the story in the build-up to this grand final, Eddie. But Kieran Cunningham is out there with his St Helens side warming up. He has been the subject of much speculation ahead of this game because of a hand injury he's been carrying for the last several weeks, it turns out. He had a pain-killing injection to get him through the game against Wigan last weekend. He had a scan on Monday to ascertain the nature of the problem. He's probably, although I haven't got it confirmed, had another pain-killing injection this evening. I do know his right hand looks heavily strapped. Apparently Simon Perrett, the Saints club doctor, was the man who would have had to advise Kieran Cunningham if he had to drop out. I wouldn't have fancied his chances at that task. There was no way that Kieran Cunningham wasn't going to lead his side this evening. The other problems for Saints in the build-up to this game, Matt Gidley with a groin injury and Tony Pugliatua with a shoulder problem, they've both come through. For the Leeds Rhinos, much speculation about the fitness of Brent Webb. Of course, he missed last year because of a back injury. Now, he came off against the Catalan Dragons last weekend. Immediately speculation about another back problem for Brent Webb. He's been cleared during the week. I'm wondering whether it is a sternum problem that Brent Webb has had that might still have this evening. But again, it wasn't enough to keep him out of this game. Good news for Leeds is that Ali Lawatiti, who missed last weekend with the virus, is back. So Simon Worrell is the unfortunate player to drop out for the Leeds Rhinos. This then is how the two sides line up here at Old Trafford for this grand final. And Leeds with Brent Webb at full back. Then it's Scott Donald, Lee Smith, Keith Senior, Ryan Hall, who 2 years ago was a water boy at this ground. Now he's the star man for the Rhinos. 33 tries this season. Daniel Maguire and Rob Burrow. In the forwards for Leeds, Kylie Luluai, Matt Diskin, Jamie Peacock, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Carl Ablett and Kevin Sinfield, aiming to be captain for a 4th time in a winning grand final side. And on the bench for the Leeds Rhinos, Ali Lawatiti returns, Ryan Bailey, Ian Kirk and Luke Burgess. The coaches, Brian McLennan, they'll be back home watching in Kiwi land for more success for Bluey, I'm sure. Now St Helens with Paul Wellens at fullback, Adi Gardner, Matt Gidley back over that groin strain, Kyle Eastman, one of 2 players out there, only 2 players without grand final experience this evening. Just shows what experience there is out there. Francis Melly, Leon Price, Sean Long in his last game for Saints, Tony Pugliatua, Kieran Cunningham, James Graham, John Wilkin, Chris Flannery and Lee Gilmore, another one playing his last game for Saints. And on the bench is James Roby, Bryn Hargreaves, Paul Clough and Maury Fasavalou for the coach Mick Potter. And a big hand to all the supporters who managed to get here this evening, because Manchester City Centre has been gridlocked, there's been a security shutdown, no trams, no buses, they've had to walk, they've had to taxi it here. You've had Leeds and Saints fans sharing taxis to get here, Eddie, just to be at the grand final.
It couldn't happen in any other sport, could it? Thanks, Bill. Our guests here tonight fall into 2 distinct categories. One has never missed a grand final, the other's played in a couple of them. Sean McRae has always been in position each year since 1998 to watch with us, and Brian Carney played here in 2001 and 2003 for Wigan, and he'll be along in a couple of moments' time. Sean, welcome back. It's a simple question for you, really. 2 great sides, but who's going to win?
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, both sides have wonderful credentials. When you consider there are 26 internationals on display here tonight, 3 sides, that indicates that both sides have a wonderful ability to score points, wonderful ability to stop sides from scoring against them. They're composed, they're patient, they can play with finesse, they can play the clock down, they know how to play all different scenarios. And that makes it very, very difficult to pick a winner tonight. And I think that these sides are so evenly matched that it might just get down to a drop goal, a couple of points. Who knows, it might even go to golden point, I don't know. But the thing about this game, Eddie, is I hear all season people tell me about mental toughness, and this will test the mental toughness of this side. It may get down to that, but I don't think a lot of people fully understand what that means.
What does it mean?
Well, to me, it means being able to play under pressure outside your comfort zone. So these sides will get into their comfort zones very, very quickly. They'll apply pressure, they'll absorb pressure. There will be a point somewhere in this game where one of these teams will really feel the pressure, and they still have to be able to play, and they'll go outside their comfort zone. And if they can handle that and affirm and assert their game plan, then they will come out the victors. And I think both of these sides are capable of doing that. That's what makes them special. That's why they've been here 3 years in a row.
Indeed so, and I mean, we talk about both of these two sides and they can score tries for fun. They score some sensational tries, but over the past couple of weeks in the playoffs, it's been the defence that has shone through. St Helens, for instance, they're coming into this match, they haven't scored more than 15 points in a game for the past 8 weeks. Now that's not St Helens.
No, it's not. Then we have two sides probably at either end of the continuum. We have St Helens, who have been brilliant defensively, yet I don't think that Leeds have been. I think Leeds have had a few points scored on them, more than they would like, and some tries against the Catalan Dragons, particularly from scrums, that Brian McLennan won't be happy about. And I think St Helens will play on that tonight. But on the other hand, Leeds have been scoring plenty of points, and that will worry St Helens' defence. Now, if St Helens' defence opens up, then they're going to have some problems, because that will put pressure on players like Sean Long, Leon Price, to have to come up with special plays under pressure. So both sides were capable of doing either, and that's, as I said, to me it's a 50-50 split.
Well, there's a man very much alone with his thoughts, Brian McLennan, the coach of the Leeds Rhinos. He has got his team primed and ready, and well, they're all out there. They're just finishing off their last-minute plans, but Brian is inside the dressing room, as you've just seen. But you know, tonight, grand final nerves should not come into it. This is the third year in a row that these two great sides have faced each other here on the biggest night of the year. 2007, 2008, it was Leeds Rhinos who came out on top. Can they make it 3 in a row? Or is it third time lucky for the Saints? And who are the players to turn the game? Well, Steve-O is already in position high up there on the gantry.
I must say, Eddie, it's not going to be easy to pick a winner tonight, as Sean McRae has already intimated that it will take something perhaps very different, some skillful play that will make sure that they break through that very strong defence, both from the Leeds and St Helens sides. And I think that the spotlight all week has been on Sean Long, hasn't it? He's just released a new book and he's upset quite a few people, and I think he'll be wanting to upset not only the Leeds supporters but also the Leeds 17 tonight. He's a man with a great ego, we know that. Sean Long loves the big stage, and I think that he will want to walk out tonight. He realises that this will be his last game in a St Helens jumper. He's on his way to Hull next season, and he will want to stamp it. Now, most players in the dressing room, they'll be just saying to themselves, I hope we win. We can win. Sean Long will be thinking to himself, we not only will win, but I want to win the Harry Sunderland Award. I want to be that man of the match. That's the type of ego that Sean Long has. Now, he has to direct out there. Now, last year, he was not to be seen. It was not the best performance that we've seen from the mercurial halfback. And I'm sure that Mick Potter will realise that he has to really stamp his authority. I think that Saints will play a lot more down the middle. We've already spoken about Cunningham's problem with his hand. I think they'll utilise him as an extra prop. And I think with James Graham, they will plough that furrow right down the middle and try to suck Leeds in. They'll also have the ability of the speed of Kyle Eastman. Now, Eastman to me is in sensational form. Now, Leeds realise how good he is. Now, remember a few years ago, they had the volcano, didn't they, at Bradford? And Leeds just kept kicking to him all the time. They tired him out. And I reckon that's what Leeds will be doing tonight. They will be pinpointing, not only running at Kyle Eastman, they'll be trying to turn him around with the kicks. He'll have to do a lot of work. St Helens, of course, they know that Brent Webb has a problem. Is it his back? Is it the sternum? We don't really know. Normally, you wouldn't kick to the fullback because he's got so much talent. He's got a great sidestep. But they will kick directly to him tonight, especially in the opening 10-15 minutes. The reason why? They want to get hold of him. They want to twist that body, fairly and squarely, of course, but they want to twist his body and see whether he has an injury. If they can get him off that field of play, they know they've got a better chance. Also, Leeds have got a key player in Kevin Sinfield. He was instrumental in beating Catalans last week. The reason why is wonderful long passes. He can pass 30, 40 metres in one go. And if St Helens play a very tight defence, That long ball will give the likes of Donald and Hall plenty of opportunities. Who's going to win it? I don't often sit on the fence, but I am not even wanting to have a bet. It could be a draw, and like Sean says, golden point. We haven't had one yet.
No, we haven't, but it goes without saying that whoever goes home tonight as champions of 2009 will have to score some tries. These two sides, as we've already said, are renowned for their attacking skills, of course, but in last week's semi-finals, their defence was outstanding. We're going to join Phil Clark on the Old Trafford pitch right now, and with the help of some virtual graphics and our special Eye in the Sky, he's going to explain how Leeds and Saints will plug the gaps and how they'll find the gaps. Phil, it's all yours.
Eddie, the qualification process for every team in Super League involves 36 hours of competitive action, plus the pressure of the playoffs, all for a chance to end up here as contenders in the grand final. Both of these teams have enough experience, confidence and belief to lift the big trophy tonight. There are enough risk takers and game breakers to stand on the winner's podium, but there can be only one. Tonight's opponents use different strategies to win games of rugby league. St Helens look to dominate down the middle of the field, searching for that quick play of the ball from which to spring into life. If we take a quick look at the metres made by players from the ruck area, we see that Roby and Cunningham sit on the top of 350 players in Super League this year, and this must be the initial defensive focus for the Rhinos tonight. A forensic analysis of the Leeds side tells us that they like to play with more width. Do you know, 40% of their tries have been scored by the fullback and two wingers. They use long, accurate, fast passing to get the ball out wide to space. And when they make a break, they invariably score points. Here's a list of 4 of the top 10 players who've supported breaks in Super League this year, and all 4 of them are for the Rhinos. 4 of the top 10 out of the entire competition. St Helens know that if their line is broken, they need to work rapidly and intelligently to get back and prevent tries from being scored. Leeds' preference when in possession is to go wide to the left-hand side. It's pretty obvious. They've got the competition's top try scorer in Ryan Hall. They've got a freakish talented player by Alilao Atiti. And in Keith Senior, they have the most important player in the Leeds camp. In games between these two sides this year, Leeds have managed to score 9 tries. 7 of these have been created, scored or had an influence by Keith Senior. Even at 33 years of age, he's still one of the most dangerous players in the Super League, and at times he's been too hot for St Helens to handle, releasing the ball back on the inside there from Brent Webb. At times he has an ability just to decide to score. Here, Keith Senior has decided in his mind Leeds need a try, and despite the fact there are 2 defenders in front of him, he's too powerful for both of them. When he isn't carrying the ball, he's also posing a threat. The influence he has on the field, 3 Leeds attackers, 3 St Helens defenders. But the one that we see circled in red and white, Eddie Gardner, is so attracted to Keith Senior because of the threat that he possesses, that it offers the space out wide for Brent Webb to put the pass into the ball of Ryan Hall. It's a fantastic pass and well finished by the game's top try scorer. St Helens like to blast the hinges off the doors in the middle of the field, driving their opponents backwards before they then get into a strike position. Their tries against Leeds this year have also been impressive. When they've driven them back to the line, they use enthusiastic and realistic decoys to hold in the Leeds defence in the middle of the field before releasing it to players who like space. Eddie Gardner, big man, on Rob Burrow, little man. Footwork's too much for him to handle, skips on the outside, brings in the winger, releases Gardner. Great try. Again, another example in the same match, one from a scrum and one they focus on. Gilmore hitting the hole, Leeds too tight defensively, offering Paul Wellens the space on the outside. He rounds his man and has enough pace to score. But here's the classic St Helens try. Long pass to Roby, from Roby to Long, and then lots of players moving, offering competition to the defence, asking the questions, where do they go? The man in the red and white circle is Leon Price, the main strike weapon for St Helens, and at 6'4" and with great footwork, a very difficult player to handle. Too hot for Leeds on that occasion. If the rugby gods are looking down on this altar here tonight in Manchester, they'll get to witness the sacrifice that the players have to make if they want to finish their season on a high and mark their place in history.
And that's what Phil Clark's looked like from 1,000 feet. Old Trafford is filling up and ready for the 2009 Engage Super League Grand Final. And someone else who's just dropped in is Brian Carney, the man I mentioned earlier on, who has played here 2001 and 2003. You can tell us about the nerves, because there are only two players, one on either side, Luke Burgess, Kyle Eastman, who have never experienced this before. What awaits them?
Well, despite the fact that there's only two that haven't experienced it, I think the majority of them will still feel nerves. It's from the minute you get off the bus, you get a feeling with all the supporters around it, this is a big game. You get into the dressing rooms and you try and go through your normal routine, maybe get out on the pitch, have a little walk around. Come warm out time, the thing that hits you when the minute you walk out is how high these stands go and how much on top of you the supporters feel. Yet you still got a job to do. You got to get out there and warm up like you have done all season. So you're consciously talking to yourself all the time just to stay composed and stay calm. Back into the dressing rooms, hug, bit of strapping, final few words from the coach, and you're back out. Walk down the tunnel, lining up. That's when the nerves really start to build. And when you walk out and this place erupts and the noise hits you, that's when you know you're on grand final night. You can't wait for the whistle. It all disappears once the whistle comes.
Well, look, I'm a notoriously bad reader of body language, but when I saw the two teams coming out about an hour and a half or so ago, Leeds looked very, very relaxed. They look as though they know every inch of grass here at Old Trafford. Saints looked a bit more keyed up. Should I read anything into that?
Well, I'm not sure really. Like, Leeds have definitely come into this in more consistent form, so maybe they have an opportunity to be very, very confident in themselves. St Helens know that they have played it only well in patches this season. They're really going to need to play the best game that they've played in the last 7 or 8 weeks to get up to Leeds' level. Leeds are going to be talking all week about stepping it up a gear. Saints have got to step it up 2 gears, I think. They need to get the ball to Leon Price, as Phil showed it in his graphics, Matt Gidley and Kyle Eastman early, and let them hit a retreating Leeds defence. Otherwise, I think Leeds might have too much for St Helens.
It's a fascinating contest, and the thing about Old Trafford is generally the heavens are opening around about this time. Thankfully, it is dry out there on the pitch at the moment. It is a perfect night for the grand final. And you know, it's almost time for all the talking to stop. The race for Old Trafford began back in February. Here we are now with the best two teams ready and waiting to display their skills here at Old Trafford. It is the 2009 Engage Super League Grand Final, Leeds against St Helens, and it's live from Old Trafford right after this break. Super League Grand Final, the 12th Old Trafford drama is about to unfold. Leeds face St Helens here at the Theatre of Dreams for the 3rd year in a row, aiming to make history. No team has ever won the title 3 successive years. Let's quickly run through the two sides for you. Leeds and Saints are at full strength. Webb, Donald, Smith, Senior, Hall, Maguire and Burrow, they're the backs for the champions. Forwards, Luluai, Diskin, Peacock, Jones, Buchanan, Ablett and Sinfield, the skipper. And on the bench, it's Lautiti, Bailey, Kirk and Burgess. The coach is Brian McLennan. For the Saints, it's Wellens at full back, then it's Gardner, Gidley, Eastman, Melly, Price and Long. Forwards, Graham, Cunningham the captain, Pulatua, Flannery, Wilkin and Gilmore. And the bench here, Roby, Hargreaves, Clough and Parsivalou. The coach is Mick Potter. And there it comes, the Engage Super League trophy. And the teams will file past that particular piece of silverware in just a few moments' time. That is what all this fuss is about. There's a potential television audience of over 100 million watching tonight's showpiece. Our pictures are being beamed to 30 countries worldwide tonight. The interest this year is unprecedented. The two best sides of 2009 are about to do battle. The teams that finished first and second after the weekly rounds are here again for the 10th time. Leeds finished second in the last 2 years and won it. Saints finished second this year, and they hope that that particular piece of history will repeat itself so that they can claim their first Super League title since 2006. And Mick Potter there, he will be a slightly anxious man, because it's 6 years since St Helens last went through a season and didn't claim at least one piece of silver. But the Leeds Rhinos, they are the champions. They have defended the title with pride in 2009, and they will not let go of that particular piece of silverware very easily. They are side by side, but in a moment they will be standing square opposite each other. It's Leeds on the left, it's St Helens on the right. Ryan McLennan was left, as we saw. He was pacing in the dressing room while his players just finished their pre-match preparation. Ryan McLennan, who has enjoyed nothing but success since he arrived at Headingley, winning the trophy in his first year. Mick Potter must be dreaming that tonight it'll be him winning in his first year. And what a nice touch. The two coaches shake hands. And All Angels will now set the tone by singing Jerusalem. Just a poignant note that All Angels singing the hymn Jerusalem, and on Monday, the week of grand final, John Holmes' funeral was held in Leeds, one of the great legends of the Leeds club, and they sang Jerusalem at his funeral. Well, Old Trafford awaits another classic, and we have the two sides on show here who could really provide it. It's the 12th Old Trafford Grand Final. It's Leeds 6th. For St Helens, it's a new record, a 7th appearance here at this wonderful stadium. And out they come, and this is when the hairs on the back of the neck stand up, and this is when the shivers go down their backs. A cacophony of sound, and a firework display as well. Leeds the champions, St Helens the challengers. The third year in a row that these two great sides have met here. And somewhere amongst the smoke is a trophy, and it will be taken up and it will be presented at the end of 80 minutes. Or will this match go to extra time and the golden point? A lot of people are tipping exactly that. If Keith Senior and Leeds win, they've become only the second club to achieve a third consecutive title in this country, and the first via the playoffs. They won just 3 championships in 108 years. They're going for their 4th triumph in 6 years, and an unprecedented 3rd Super League title in a row. Steve Ganson is the big match referee. He has been the best official all year. He's in charge of the whistle. Let's hope we aren't talking about him over the course of this 80 minutes. St Helens with the white and the big red V, and the ball falls off the kicking tee. After all that build-up, the ball didn't read the script. Paul Wellens will get us going. Saints attacking from left to right. Here we go! The climax of 2009.
Well, you saw the 2 captains shake hands just before they came out onto the field of play. But let's not forget that there is a lot at stake, mainly pride as well. Every time these 2 sides have met each other this year, there's been a bit of a dust-up. It's well noted that they do not get on with each other. It's all right shaking hands to start, but out there it's going to be rough and tough.
It's Kevin Sinfield driving the ball forward. That's the 4th tackle for Leeds, this opening set of 6 of the grand final. And Rob Burrow goes for a kick early in the tackle count, and that will hang in the in-goal area. It's a belter of a kick from Burrow, and Gardner will drive it out, and it's the 4th penalty. First tackle of the Leeds side on St Helens. Brent Webb penalised for a high challenge.
A wonderful kick, and just wasted by a silly play by Brent Webb. We said that there isn't much love between these 2 sides, and I think you can see quite clearly. And he will not get a pat on the back by his coach, Brian McLennan. It was a magnificent kick, dropped in the in-goal area, and look at that, and they've been caught offside again. They've just turned it, and Steve Ganson...
We're not going to talk about him, Steve. The game's only a minute and a half old. He had to give it.
Yeah, they were off the mark. They want to get into each other as quickly as possible, but in the space of seconds, Saints can apply the pressure, and I think they'll utilise the big forwards. Look at that! There's going to be blood all over the park tonight.
Well, they made 60 metres then, St Helens, courtesy of 2 penalties. And this is Flannery. And Flannery goes down. Mick Potter watching on anxiously. We saw Brian McLennan a few seconds ago. 2 coaches can do nothing about it now. Long steps out of a couple of would-be challengers. Here is Matt Gidley. Gidley taking on Burrow and Senior. Down he goes. Cunningham waits the dummy half for St Helens, coming down the short side. Broken hand or not, Cunningham is out there. Gidley will wait. 8 metres from the Leeds line. Spirals the ball to Long. He hits it wide to Price. Price to Wellens. Wellens showed it to Wilkin, and then Wellens went down in a heap. It's Price at dummy half. Long will hoist the kick. Here's one for Pulatuya to chase. Webb is underneath it. Flannery clatters him immediately.
Big problem for the fullback, of course, Brent Webb. We don't really know the extent of his injuries, but it's obvious that Saints are going to test him out. That was a magnificent high kick from Sean Long. It was a good take by Webb, but he would have been crunched. They will want to get him into as many tackles as possible.
Eddie, St Helens have started the last 2 grand finals better than Leeds. They've had opportunities close to opponent's line, but they've been unable to penetrate. They were still very early in this match, but I think the key that St Helens will have learnt is opportunities need to be turned into points as this game wears on.
Last tackle here for Leeds, only 26 metres gained, and that flicked off a St Helens player from the boot of Sinfield. It's now with Paul Wellens. Burrow, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Peacock were all there to bring him down.
It's amazing, isn't it? Paul Wellens, it's as though he knew it wasn't going to be a deep kick. He wasn't far back. It was virtually, it was rigged to perfection.
And here is Flannery now for St Helens, trying to go around Peacock. That's difficult. Diskin is there as well. Cunningham dummy half for Saints. Now it's with James Graham. Back it comes to Long. Long then finds Price. And Price straightens it up. Thought about the pass wide to Wilkin. Took the tackle himself 30 metres away from the Leeds line. 4 tackles gone. This latest raid from St Helens. It's Pulatuya. Tackled by Ablett, by Sinfield, and also by Lee Smith, who says his farewells to Leeds tonight. This now is Long, another man who departs the scene. Webb took that easily. Gives it then to Ryan Hall. Important tackle that from Gardner.
Did well, came in. But wasn't it significant to think that Brent Webb did not want to be tackled? He offloaded it. I think he's got a problem, Eddie.
Well, here he is. Let's see how bad the problem is. He's tackled by Graham. Plays it then to Diskin. Here is Peacock. Drives it in straight at the man, Lee Gilmore. Little bit of a worry and a concern about Brent Webb. All the talk this week has been about the worry, as far as St Helens are concerned, of Kieran Cunningham. Wellens didn't take that in one-handed. It went backwards, though, is able to bring the ball forward, but not too far.
It's been one of the highlights of the Rhinos season, is their kick and chase, and again, it was quite superb. It has surprised me that Saints have been eager to get this ball out wide. I thought they would have gone down the middle a little bit more, trying to pull in this Leeds defence into the centre, then start spreading it wide. But they're doing it early.
This is James Graham, who, when he left the field at Headingley a month or so ago after the weekly round match between these two sides, he refused to shake a single hand. There's a little bit of feeling in this match, there is no doubt about that. This is Long now. Penetrating kick from Sean Long, and Brent Webb is going to have to run this ball forward. There are 4 defenders there. Price is one of them. He nearly gets through Price. He doesn't get away from Cunningham.
And the interesting thing to note from both sides is that when they've both kicked on the 4th tackle. Leeds kicked on the 4th tackle last time because John Wilkin had put Kevin Sinfield under enormous pressure. And that time Sean Long decided to kick on tackle 4 because of the pressure they've been applied and to try to get field position. But penalties like Steve Ganson's just given here, that means metres to the attacking side, and it just relieves the pressure.
3 penalties, but as yet no break in play other than those penalties. They've got to be fit to play this game.
They certainly have on this ground as well. Let's not forget this is one of the widest arenas that you can see, and they'll utilise it. Will Leeds start missing the man out? Will Kevin Sinfield start taking control?
Well, this is the first time, the first foray that Leeds have had into Leeds, St Helens territory. There's the bird's eye view of Old Trafford tonight as Leeds challenge that St Helens line. Burrow, great ball. He finds Brent Webb, and Webb gets away to Ryan Hall, but it was forward.
He just held on too long, did Brent Webb. Knew he didn't have the speed. Good tackle as well by Sean Long, it had to be, but he just kept it a fraction too long. And you see quite clearly from the shot from the helicopter, watch it float, not much in it. Good decision there by Ganson.
Tell you what, having seen that shot, the Rugby League might think about having a helicopter at each match, because there's no doubt that was a forward pass. Looking at it from this level, from this angle, it looked as though it might have been flat at worst.
Is that where they put the video ref then in there?
The video ref in the helicopter. Great work, Phil. Great idea.
Not much in it.
No, at that level, there didn't look anything in it. But up above, from 1,000 feet, it was clear. Here is Long. Price. And Lee Smith's shot out of the line did enough. Maguire and Sinfield were able to bring him down. Graham now.
Pretty good defence by the Rhinos. You could see on that previous play how they come in on the angle. Not give him the opportunity. They know the quality, and that's lost.
Well, he says play on, does Steve Ganson. Ball Kent did come free, but this is the last tackle. Wilkin, not the regular kicker, and that's the reason why. Out on the full.
He was put under immense pressure. I reckon that's taken away. I reckon Peacock has ripped that ball from... I reckon he's taken away from loose forward Lee Gilmore.
Well, it should have been a penalty then, because it was a two man in the tackle, and if it wasn't a penalty, the tackle count should have at least been wiped down. As it is, Leeds won't be arguing because they are in possession, midway inside Saints' half. Peacock, he's turned his back on Gilmore and Cunningham for a moment, then takes the second tackle this set of 6. Diskin in centre field. Thought about getting the pass away. Was brought to ground by Cunningham. Has a little look wide and has a glare at Keith Senior and co. Here is Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Well, it's every right to as well. The hooker was saying, hey, come on, you've got to be concentrating, and they weren't.
Sinfield, good ball to Maguire. Maguire teasing them. Well, that was forward. It's a knock on anyway.
The idea was there, but Lee Smith couldn't take it in. Watching just dummy here, Maguire, just for the second, and then pass it through. Touch forward as well. Good position, though, by Kyle Eastman. Both these sides, when they get pretty near, they know how to just go as a unit. They don't mess around in defence.
Two contrasting defensive styles here tonight so far. When Sean Long gets a long ball from Kieran Cunningham and decides to throw another long ball to Leon Price, Leeds are prepared to play a blitz defence. They want to really put pressure on that play. When Leeds have got the ball in attacking position so far, St Helens are quite happy just to sit. They take a couple of paces forward, they all sit, they space nicely, and they're prepared to give Leeds a little bit of time on the ball.
It's St Helens in possession here with Tony Pulla-Tua.
We mentioned before the game, Eddie, that and you can see the defensive lines, how controlled. Look at that. That's good solid work though by Graham.
Great run from James Graham, gets Saints to halfway. Here goes Cunningham now. Flicks the ball back to Long. Long just a little drop of the shoulder. Sinfield followed him all the way. Last tackle here for St Helens. It's now with Leon Price. Up it goes off the boot of Price. This is hanging in the air. Flannery's after this. Flannery gets it. Wellens rather gets it. It comes out to Gardner. Gardner dabs the ball into the in-goal area, and Brent Webb is taken over the touching goal line, and they forced the goal line dropout. Wellens was underneath the kick, and St Helens managed to keep the movement going.
It surprised me that Leeds did not attempt to take this. Flannery is allowed to take it all on his own, gets it away, and now Saints have been rewarded with another set of 6. It was good work by Gardner, applying that pressure. Webb knew he had to get back.
Great work from A.D. Gardner. Try against Leeds here in the 16-24 defeat last year. Also a try in the 2006 win against Hull.
Good tactics though by Saints. They've really given it some air on those kicks. That's the third one. And Leeds have not looked all that confident about defusing it.
This is Pulla-Tua. Great drive from Pulla-Tua on the first tackle. 11 minutes gone in the grand final. 0-0. And here is Wilkin.
This next play, Eddie, is the big one for Saints. This is when they usually put on most players in motion.
This is Long. Looks for the runners. He finds Price. He finds Wellens. Wellens thought about the pass to Gidley. Took the tackle himself. Down he goes. That's the third. Gidley weighing up the options both ways. Come the short side with Price. Great tackle, Senior. That was a wonderful tackle from Keith Senior. Here is Sean Long. Will drag the kick through, looking for Cunningham. Beats everybody.
Did well there, didn't he, Danny Maguire? How's that for confidence?
That dead ball line is almost on the brow of the hill. If you look at it, it is almost on the backside of the slope down towards the advertising hoardings.
Eddie, it's very hard for rugby players to kick the ball and it sits up in the in-goal area here. This football pitches tend to be harder than most of the rugby pitches, and the ball rolls on much quicker. It's obviously designed for football, and I think that's one of the reasons why St Helens went with higher kicks, because it's difficult to get it to sit up in there.
Leeds on the fourth tackle have made 22 metres. Sinfield will play this 10 metres inside his own half, and Burrow will kick. Not the best. Straight at Paul Wellens. The fullback picks it up, and Wellens will run it forward at the kicker. Knocks him off his feet. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Mark Diskin are there to bring him down.
Interesting to note again, Eddie, though, Leeds are quite happy to sacrifice one play to put a kick in on tackle 4 to try to get field position. In this situation, though, the chase wasn't particularly good, and Saints have been able to bring the ball back to the halfway on tackle 3. That's something that Leeds don't want.
Top team, second team after the weekly rounds. It's the 9th time they've faced each other in playoffs. It's 4 wins apiece, and that's possibly a reason why we have a 0-0 scoreline after 13 minutes of the 2009 grand final. That ball has popped up for Eastman, and Eastman will go in for the first St Helens try. It was a dab through, it bounced off, I think, off a Leeds player, and Kyle Eastman, the thing, has scored the first try of the grand final. But Steve Ganson has asked video referee Phil Bentham to check out the legality of this. The rookie in the grand final thinks he scored.
Well, a kick through from Wilkin. It just ricocheted away. They really should have been more alert, the Rhinos. Wilkin gets to it, and you can see the captain, Kevin Sinfield, gets the boot out, and it bounces superbly. He had the opportunity, didn't he, Scott Donald? He just drags it in. You have to take those chances, and I must say, all that territory that Saints have had, they have come up trumps.
Well, they're looking, I think, Steve-O, here as we roll it back very slowly for a possible knock-on by Eastman.
No, I think Donald hits it first, doesn't he?
It's a big call. It is a big call in the grand final.
Oh, is it ever? Phil Bentham. He has to decide whether Eastman has touched that ball first. And as soon as it touches Donald, then it has to be qualified as a knock-on. But that's hard. That's a 50-50. I think that they both hit the ball simultaneously, and I think benefit of the doubt has to be given.
Well, if they hit it simultaneously, then it does go with the attacking side in a situation like this.
Well, that's how it appears to me. Look, now Donald has got the wrist to it, and so has the fingertips of Eastman. Over to you, Phil Bentham. This is very difficult indeed.
Any thoughts, fellas?
Well, from that angle, you have to award a try to the most exciting young player on show here tonight. He put himself in the right position, and he deserves 4 points.
I agree, it's a try.
Looking at the ground,
it has to be a try.
Kyle Eastman then. He was just picked to be Young Player of the Year. He has got the first try in the grand final. St Helens lead at Old Trafford.
And this is amazing. The kicking tactics from St Helens, early part of the game, has been given plenty of height. The last two kicks they produced, one on the right-hand side that allowed them to get a second set of 6, and now they've done it exactly on the left-hand side. Okay, they got the ricochet off Kevin Sinfield's boot, but this man was alert. Can he turn the 4 into 6?
Kyle Eastman made sure the angle wasn't as difficult as it might have been. That's a very old head on some very young shoulders. St Helens are ahead 6-0. We've got Barry at one end, we've got Terry at the other. That was scored at Barry's end. Barry, what do you think of that?
Whenever you take the decision to come on a short side play, you've got to back yourself. And Kyle Eastman was in the right place at the right time. His sweet hands allowed him to pick the ball up and just force the first point. It's been neck and neck for those opening exchanges.
Neck and neck indeed. Nothing to choose for such a long time, but now Saints with a 6-0 advantage, courtesy of the man on his grand final debut, Kyle Eastman. He scored the try, he's kicked the goal.
And the biggest problem for the Rhinos now is not only to be down at that end, they've got to make sure that they get the ball. Remember, they've given away a silly penalty that allowed Saints to get out of the danger zone.
I'm reminded that St Helens scored first try of the 2008 grand final by James Graham, and we all know what happened after that. Leeds came back and won the crown. Long goes for a 40-20. Didn't quite have the angle. Bounces kindly for Brent Webb. And Webb is met by Graham and finished off by Price. Gets to his feet, plays it to Maguire. Here is Ryan Hall, the game's top try scorer. 33 tries in all competitions this year. Ryan Hall.
Brian McLennan's got to get the message out to the Leeds players. Look, let's go back to basics a little bit. Saints are rushing them, and they're just putting them off their game. Just slow it down, that's what they'll be saying.
Senior, Keith Senior, fourth grand final appearance. He missed the defeat in 2005 against the Bulls. High kick early again in the tackle count from Leeds, that time off Sinfield's boot. That was well claimed by Gardner.
And that's a common feature of when Leeds play against St Helens. They prefer to kick the ball to Eddie Gardner rather than Paul Wellens or Francis Melly. It's a tactic that we've seen already in the first 15 minutes, and I think they will persist with.
Here is Chris Flannery now. Wellens is in at dummy half, the fullback, but he vacates the position and leaves it to Kieran Cunningham. He's got Melly on his inside. Melly's the first receiver, drives it at Ablett.
And that's good work from the winger, takes a lot of pressure off the forwards. But St Helens, they're masters, aren't they? Look, they're already over the halfway line. They know exactly what it's all about. That's a great kick.
Long's angled kick. finds touch just this side of the 10-metre line. Under a bit of pressure, Sean Long tonight, you feel. His autobiography has ruffled a few feathers, had one or two things to say about people. Leaving St Helens at the end of this game, will play next year for Hull FC and wants a big game, and says he will leave St Helens with a heavy heart.
He certainly will, but he wants to walk off this pitch, not only being a winner, and I mentioned before the game, Eddie, is that, you know, he's the type of player, his ego, he wants to be the best. He wants to show tonight that he's still the best in Britain, and he'll want to walk away with the Man of the Match award if he can.
Sean Long, 33, his opposite number tonight, Rob Burrow. He is just 27, and Burrow probably the incumbent scrum half for England in the Four Nations that comes up in the month that lies ahead after this season's finale in the Engage Super League. Diskin, 20 metres away for the champions. Peacock.
Oh, great hit.
What a hit from Gilmore.
You must say that the Saints pack, they are really out-muscling their opposite.
Someone else, of course, who's leaving Saints is Lee Gilmore. He's off to Huddersfield for 2010. But it's all about the next hour or so for everybody here.
Eddie, revenge can be a powerful motivator for some players, and you sense with some of these St Helens that their still minds can't go back 12 months to the defeat, and 12 months before that to the previous defeat in the grand final. There's an extra determination amongst the red and white jerseys here.
18 minutes gone, it's Saints who lead 6-0, and that's Leon Price. Good tackle that was by Peacock. Graham hit that at pace, gets the ball away to Cunningham, he finds Long then to Flannery, and Flannery saw a gap and went for it, but it was closed quickly by Jones, Buchanan and Burrow. That's Gidley, here's Long, shaped a kick, came back this way, Long still, tackled by Burrow, hounded to the ground by Burrow and Luluai. Last one.
The thing is, Long is buzzing out there.
Up it goes off the boot of John Wilkin. Oh, that's a towering bomb. And it didn't touch Scott Donald, so that'll be a tap restart on the 20-metre line.
It's got to be a concern for Brian McLennan, the Rhinos coach, because they are just all at sea. As soon as St Helens put it high, there's no one getting into a position, and even though Scott Donald got near it, it really should have had the fullback Brent Webb underneath it. Now then, can they do what Saints have been doing quite easily in the opening 19 minutes, and that's early in the tackle count, get into the opposition half. But it's not going to be easy. Look at that defence from Saints.
Well, there's a bit of space here for Senior to exploit, perhaps. He can't get away from Gidley. Penalty for St Helens. Hands in at the ruck, says Steve Ganson.
Just went a little bit too much there. Just try to push him over. That's a good spot as well by the official, Steve Ganson.
Well, that's classic Leeds. When in trouble, let's go to Big Keith. Senior in the centre, gets them forward, penalty, and all of a sudden the complexion on this match changes now. Leeds for the first time attacking in good ball.
Yes, this is their chance. It's Sinfield. Short ball to Peacock. Penalties all square, two apiece. Diskin waits. 15 metres away from the St Helens line. Burrow. Back it comes to Webb. Webb then gives it out and finds Lee Smith. Good tackle by Eastman round the ankles. Donald finds Maguire. Maguire teasing the St Helens defence, went for it himself. Pulatua and Cunningham nullified the threat. Diskin waits. Finds his captain, Sinfield. Sinfield to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Good hit again from the St Helens defence. Can Leeds conjure up another set of 6 here? Can they get a penalty? Jamie Jones was looking for that. Burrow will hoist the kick wide. Melly's underneath this. So too is Scott Donald. Comes down off Donald. Melly though to the rescue.
Great work, and it was a beautiful kick as well. Pinpointed into the corner. Sensational kick. Melly, and they both go for it. Ricochets away, but look how quick. That's been the difference between the two sides as well. Saints looking far more alert. They're eager for it. If it's a half 50-50 ball, they'll guarantee it'll be a red and white man come up with it.
Steve-O, before the match, we watched them as they came out of the dressing rooms, the two sides. Saints looked so intense, Leeds very relaxed.
Some have it different. Some like them to be wound up. Obviously, Mick Potter has said, we've got to get into that game very quickly, and they have that.
This is a great kick from Long, just outside the 40.
Look, it's controlling the game. it will be going through his mind, saying all the time, I am going to be the star, I'm going to be the director, you follow me. And he knows it. Mick Potter realises he will not have given him any instructions whatsoever, Sean Long. He'll say, you just go out there and take control. And boy, he's doing a good job.
And Steve, I reckon you've hit the nail on the head. The word you used was speed. Everything that St Helens is doing so far, everything they're doing is much quicker than the Leeds Rhinos. Now, that will be because of the field position they've had. They've been able to get out of their own half very quick. Their kicking game's been better. Leeds have effectively played most of this first 22 minutes in the field position they're currently in, bringing the ball off their line. St Helens have barely had to do it. That creates a fatigue factor, which means that you will play a little bit slower until you get some energy and effort up the other end of the field. So far, Leeds have only been there a couple of times. They need to spend more time in St Helens territory to put them under pressure.
But if my memory pills are working, I think that was a very much the same sort of situations we had 12 months ago, and Sinfield has got a 40-20. Sinfield's got a 40-20 here that could turn the course of this first half.
Tremendous kick. And boy, if ever a captain needed something to lift his side, this is it. It's been around a while now as this rule, and quite a few of them exploit it. And none better than this fella in your screen. He was magnificent last week against Catalan.
And he's hoping to lift the Super League trophy for the 4th time in 6 seasons as the Leeds skipper. And there he is on the ball. He finds Maguire. Maguire gives it to Senior. He slips one net that was belonging to Helens. He can't get away from the next two. They will come down the short side. Now they change the direction. Jamie Jones Buchanan. Ooh, that's an important tackle by Graham, inches short. And here is Maguire. And St Helens smother the ball carrier and bring him to ground. Look how close Leeds are. And it comes out wide and they find Burrow. Burrow then to Sinfield. And Sinfield to Ablett. Great swarming St Helens defence. 4 tackles have been repelled. 2 to go this set of 6. Sinfield finds Burrow. Burrow chips it over the top. Long has lost it. Penalty. Tackled in the air. Penalty, says Steve Ganson.
And very confident as well. The man with the whistle knew exactly that Long had been taken off. Brent Webb definitely made contact with the scrum half. Made it look as though he's going for the ball, but he was not going to fool the official. That's a right decision. Boy, so close, isn't it?
And he was right on the spot, Steve Ganson, to make that decision. Didn't need any help from anybody else. Brent Webb, this is his 80th Leeds appearance, by the way. He missed last year's grand final, but he got a try here 2 years ago.
Hold here, hold, go.
St Helens then.
First, move, go.
And that's Bryn Hargreaves who played the ball. This is Graham. Hargreaves just on the field, the former Wigan prop. St Helens in possession here with Gilmore, gets them over halfway on the 3rd. Roby and Hargreaves for Pulatua and Cunningham. And there's Roby.
And again, creating all sorts of trouble down the middle. Quick play the ball. Look at that. Leeds are being caught time and time again. Oh, that's a high shot. Maguire looking to get away with it.
Last tackle here for St Helens. It's with Long. He'll hoist the kick. Ryan Hall's under it. And the ball has bounced back. And it's offside against Leeds because Burrow... Well, no, I thought he was going to give offside, but what he's done is given a penalty for Keith Senior's jump in the air. The signal from Steve Ganson was plain. He signals after this here that Senior's taken a man out.
Yep. No doubt in my mind, he did exactly that to Chris Flannery. And it was another high kick that's creating all sorts of problems. Now, this is a surprise. It looks as though they're going to go for the 2. That is respect. But Senior had made contact with Flannery. Gidley came in later. And there is the message.
In stereo.
Well, it wasn't about fighting them on the beaches, was it? Let's face it. It was, let's take those 2.
It might have been V for victory, Steve-O, because I think whenever St Helens get the chance, they will take whatever points are on offer. This is the grand final.
but the confidence is running through their veins, Eddie. They are in control, they know it. They're getting over the advantage line. They've been able to get quick play the balls. Leeds are not doing that.
Kyle Eastman with the penalty, and he adds the 2 points. 20 years of age, this fellow. It's only his 17th appearance of 2009, his 10th start, his first grand final, the game breaker so far, 8-0.
But the man that's creating it all is the old master, Sean Long. He's loving it out there.
Teasing little kick-off. All along the ground to Gardner. Takes the tackle from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. 8-0 then, St Helens. You know, they come into this match with their worst point-scoring drought in their Super League history. In fact, since the value of tries increased from 3 to 4 points in 1983, they have not scored more than 15 points, St Helens, in any of their last 8 matches. Perhaps they're saving it for Old Trafford.
Still a long way to go, though, Eddie. You mentioned last year when it looked as though they were well and truly in control, and then within the space of 10 minutes just before the half-time break, Leeds took control, but they're going to need something because the Saints kicking game is outstanding.
That was an excellent kick.
They might not need to score more than 18 the way they've defended in the first 25 minutes of this game. Territorially, they're playing well. The commitment individually and collectively, the defence has been fantastic.
And yet we talk, Sean, about Saints the entertainers. Here they show their mettle in defence, and look at them piling into the tackle.
Well, they have been, I agree with Phil Clark, they've been outstanding tonight, but they've also been outstanding in the last few weeks. This is a relieving penalty for the Leeds Rhinos, though. Again, it gives up easy metres, gives them an opportunity to get into the half. Again, I repeat what I said before, Eddie, they just haven't been there enough. They had an opportunity before, and they didn't quite take advantage of that, gave a penalty away. St Helens went down the other end of the field and got a 2-point penalty themselves.
And not surprisingly, Brian McLennan has thrown on the big fella Luke Burgess, because he knows he needs some power up front, and there he goes.
Yes, Luke Burgess, the other grand final rookie tonight. He also has got Ali Lauatiti out there, Brian McLennan. He is a game changer, and here he is. Look at that great offload to Maguire. Maguire is hounded down though by Long. Plays it to Senior. Here's Lauatiti once again. St Helens deal with the threat for the second time.
But you can see that Leeds, they're not really rushing, trying to get to their feet so they can get a quick play of the ball. Saints are holding them down, getting away with it. Look.
Kirk will play it here to Diskin. Now it's with Sinfield. Sinfield goes for the line. Just held up short on the last. And a chance here. He's gone for it himself, Matt Diskin, and I think he's got it down.
I do too.
Turn the ground in.
What a wonderful effort. They have the numbers there, Saints. And Diskin, this is wonderful stuff. He nearly loses it. He gets it down eventually. That is an outstanding effort from the hooker. Does he lose it? It bobbles. He's got it. This will be given. The Rhinos are back. And boy, did they need it. It came off the back of that penalty. It was a good kick down, and they built the pressure. Confirmation, surely, yes!
Diskin gets the try. He scored here at Old Trafford in 2004 against the Bradford Bulls. He also won the Harry Sunderland Award as man of the match that year. And that was a man of the match contribution from Diskin, because after half an hour of being on the ropes and on the back foot, the champions have struck back.
Great work, wasn't it, first by Kevin Sinfield. They tried to hold him through. Look at the numbers. He did well there though, didn't he, Diskin? Wonderful. He could see that Bryn Hargreaves was so slow. In fact, Hargreaves actually turned his back. And this guy took full advantage. He's a crafty hooker.
And what a year Matt Diskin has had. He began the season as understudy to Danny Badiris. He ends it with a try in the grand final that Kevin Sinfield fails to convert. It's 8-4 to Saints. Terry O'Connor's at that end.
What you do when you play against Leeds, you've got to make sure you switch on. If you give a penalty away, Leeds will try everything. They move the ball from one side to the other. They attract the St Helens defender in, but Matt Diskin on that occasion was far too strong for the St Helens defence.
You need some risk takers if you want to win a grand final, and Matt Diskin took a massive risk at it. It was the last tackle. He would have been heavily criticised by his teammates had he not made some points in that play. He took the option and he showed Kieran Cunningham that he also has the ability to crash over from that range.
And here he is again, the try scorer, and the 3 changes that Brian McLennan's just made, well, they paid dividends. Kirk is one of the 3.
Sometimes a fresh face. We've seen some nice skills from Lautiti, and it just builds the confidence as well because they needed it. They were being run ragged, they were being ripped down the middle by the big Saints forwards.
This is Bailey for Leeds, making ground even when he's on both knees. It's the last tackle, they're still inside their own half. Maguire gave it to Sinfield. The kick straight up the middle. An invitation for Wellens to run it back. No, he gives it to Melly. Francis Melly. Good defence though from Leeds. That
I got the impression that Sinfield was caught in 2 minds really with that kick.
Surrender!
Amazement that they didn't give it plenty of height. Something that's well paid its rewards for Saints.
Mari Farsivalou. Big collision with Sinfield that was. Roby. Little half break from Roby. Dealt with by the Leeds defence this time. Price. Long. Flannery. Gidley. Pushes Burrow away. Burrow can't be put off that easily. Here's Gardner. Gardner comes in field. Last tackle for Saints. It's with Long. Up goes the kick again. That will turn Brent Webb around. Difficult kick to take this, but he takes it. And Wellens over the top. He stayed on the ground, Brent Webb then did brilliantly.
This is amazing. Just ducks underneath it. Gets the knees in the rib cage. Did exceptionally well.
He saw the challenge coming. Whoa! Senior takes a chance. Ryan Hall takes a chance. Well, Brian McLennan, if he had any hair, he'd be falling out in lumps now.
Why on earth to panic there from one of the most experienced players on the Leeds side, Keith Senior? Amazing.
You know, it's a long time since the team have played better than Leeds, Eddie, and I think they're finding a little bit of a shock. That's the reason why they're offloading inside their own half. They can't go forward in the usual format, and that's the reason why you try different things.
Here's Roby, now it's with Long. Long then to Price, Price wide to Wellens, further wide to Melly. Melly goes down on the 4th tackle. It's a knock on. It's a knock on by Melly and Leeds celebrate.
Good word by the touch judge on that far side. Was it stripped or was it lost? Oh, that's hard to tell, isn't it? He drags it back. This is panic mode, isn't it? Oh, hearing me. Good job that Ryan Hall was there. Look at that. That could have been ever so costly.
Leeds then trying to work the ball away from their own line. 5.5 minutes to half-time. They've won 7 games in a row coming into this. Their last defeat 28-10 at Wigan, way back on the 24th of July. Hope you've got your Dramamine tonight, folks, because we're seeing plenty of an aerial view of Old Trafford.
Well, that helicopter spent so much of the match, Eddie, at the Leeds end of this stadium. Leeds aren't able to go forward. I think we again have to focus on how well St Helens have defended, but it might be taking a little out of them right now.
Well, a little bit too strong there by the little halfback Rob Burrow, but he'll just be happy to get up on the 30-metre line and say, look, let's get our defensive sorted out.
Let's get news from ground level. Bill?
Eddie, it's a problem for Saints and for Mari Farsivalou, who's having a visit from the physio on the run at the moment, but he went into a tackle a few moments ago and really good. As usual, he's all into it and he came out second best. Looks as though he's got a blow in the ribs. He's breathing a little easier now, but Mari Farsivalou just one of the players bearing the bruises of what has been a pretty brutal first half out there. And there's a problem for Ali Lautiti now, and Lautiti in fact is hobbling straight to the sidelines. He's come immediately off the field, and that has happened in the last few seconds as well. So that's a problem for the Rhinos.
Well, not a problem here for the Rhinos. You're right though, Bill, this could be a major blow for them in terms of selection. St Helens trying to offload in an impossible situation, and Leeds have got it back. Parsivalou trying to get it away to Gidley.
Yep.
Bailey. That's the third tackle. It's helter-skelter stuff, isn't it? It's really, really quick. And that's a good ball from Burrow to Sinfield, who thought about the offload again. Wants to get on and play it quickly here. Diskin. And Diskin finds Maguire, who'll slide the kick in. And Nelly, oh, he's gifted them a try. It's Lee Smith. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift. If he's onside from the kick. Nelly tried to shuttle the ball out, and there was no chance, and Smith's accepted it.
And one of the few occasions that Leeds have got up and played the ball quickly. He's onside. No doubt about that at all. Maguire's kick. What on earth is the winger Francis Melly thinking about? He knew that they were being chased. He knew that Donald was on him. But Smith said, I can't believe this. Neither can the Saints fans at that end. Leeds can. Well, Christmas has come early for this guy. He'll be heading to a weird game next year. He'll be going to rugby union. But he has put this wonderful side back in to the frame. Fantastic stuff.
And Lee Smith takes a bit of history with him, because he has now scored tries in 3 consecutive grand finals.
It all came about trying to offload the ball, Parsivalou. That gave the Rhinos the possession. Quick play by Diskin, kick through by Maguire, his big perfection, and boy, nearly lost my teeth. Lee Smith didn't, he got the 4. Is he happy or what? Yeah.
In either court of rugby, there are some natural-born try scorers, and Lee Smith is one of those. You know, it's the second try we've seen from a kick. We've only had 3 tries so far, 2 of the 3 from kicks so far.
Kevin Sinfield misses with the conversion. We're locked up in the 2009 grand final. It's 8 apiece. 2 tries to 1 though for the Leeds Rhinos. And Francis Melly, well, he was trying to get the ball dead, but this fella was alert. He was the first to react, and Lee Smith's try locks us up with 3 to go to half-time.
And it just shows you in tight games that if you come up with errors, the mistake. Remember, Parsivalou tried to offload in an impossible situation, and then as Eddie has just described, a gift from Francis Melly.
Incredible when you think Lee Smith has got 3 tries in 3 consecutive grand finals. Here's his latest. He scored from fullback, he scored from centre, and he scored on the wing as well. It's 8 all, and 2 minutes of the first half remaining. Burrow.
Well, it's nearly a carbon copy of what we saw last year.
It is. All Saints for half an hour, and Leeds gradually wore them down. Here's the boot of Sinfield that's causing St Helens some problems. Wellens will run this back out. Well, let's hear from Terry O'Connor now about that latest Leeds try.
Yeah, well, St Helens have put themselves under all kinds of pressure. They saw that Ali Lawatitu was going off, so Marnie Parsivalou forced that offload. Then Leeds have done what they've done all this half. They've just looked up, they've played what's in front of them, and again they're attacking down St Helens' left-hand side in defence.
That's the third tackle, though, this set of 6 for St Helens. Here is Mari Parsivalou, gets that one away this time to Hargreaves. And he will get to his feet. Roby with a scampering run, finds Sean Long. Short ball then to Clough. Might have been better served if he tried to give that a bit of air out the right-hand side. Roby finds Long. Long then with the kick, and that will just find its way to touch. He's on his way downstairs, Mick Potter.
Well, things are going ever so well, weren't they, for the St Helens side? He tried to pinpoint that into the in-goal area, just scooted away to the right.
You know, I was fascinated with the half-time score in this game, Eddie, because for the last 5 grand finals, the team leading at half-time have gone on to win the game. It looks as though we're going to go in all level, and you never know, we might just get that golden point in this match.
Yes, will we get extra time in the Golden Point? The first grand final in which teams went in level at half-time here, providing that's the way it stays for the next 10 seconds. And in a grand final, in any match in the Super League, literally anything can happen, but surely Leeds won't be tempted to do anything daft here. Oh no, maybe they will. It's a cracking little chip over the top from Lee Smith. Sean Long picks it up. Well, we were all thinking about turning round 8-all, and Lee Smith thought better of it. Inventive stuff from Lee Smith, who's just scored the try that pulls Leeds level. Look at this, the chip over. If that had bounced perfectly, look at the support he had on his right-hand side. I think that was Bretton Webb, and there's no better support player from deep than him. 8-all in the 2009 Grand Final. And, well, nightfall has fallen on Old Trafford. And the floodlights here are... Perfect half hour for Mick Potter. They led 8-0. But they gradually wore themselves back into the match, Leeds Rhinos, didn't they? They are not champions for nothing. 8-all, tight as a drum, and some great stuff we've seen, Steve-O, in that first half.
Fantastic grand final, I must say. It was all saints in the opening exchanges, wasn't it? Sean Long running hot. Just couldn't get there, Cunningham. Good defence, Webb just pushed him away. And then on the short side, the kicking game got the ricochet. It was a big call, this, from the video referee, Phil Bentham. But Kyle Eastman, in his first grand final, scored the first try. Slowly but surely, they got back into it. And this helped, didn't it? Kevin Sinfield, a beautiful 40-20. And it offered them the opportunity to at least go for it. But you can see that Webb takes Long out, jumping for the ball. This was wiped off, no try. But it just built in the confidence, didn't it? And the solo effort from the hooker, Diskin, he did well to get it down. And it just changed the complexion. And this was a gift in the end. Quick play of the balls, beautiful kick by Maguire. Oh, Mr. Malley, what on earth are you doing? Lee Smith says thank you very much indeed. That locked it up, 8 apiece.
Yes, 8-all here at Old Trafford. And, well, it's actually 2 tries to 1 in the Leeds Rhinos' favour. And the thing is, Kevin Sinfield is Super League's top goal kicker for the past 3 years. But tonight he's missed with 2 kicks. Could that be crucial, Brian?
Well, it could be if it ends up a tight game, obviously, but I'd back Kevin Sinfield to kick a sideline conversion in the last minute to win a game. He's done it throughout his career. He's done it in the Super League, so I wouldn't have any problems with that. I think Leeds have looked good. Granted, they haven't had the possession in the territory that they'd like, and they've had to do more coming out of yardage, but they've had as many shots at the St. Helens line as St. Helens had for all their possession. St. Helens are looking at 82% completion rate, but you got to look at what they're doing with the ball. They're sticking it up in the air to a guy, Webb, who's relatively comfortable at taking it. There's a couple that went either side, but they haven't had their line put under intense pressure, the Leeds team, for all the possession that St. Helens have had. So I think Leeds will feel pretty comfortable going in at half-time.
And they seem to have stuck to the game plan, don't they, the Leeds Rhinos, in that early in the tackle count, let's have a kick and let's see where that gets us.
Absolutely, and the kicking game's been good. Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield have brought a really good kicking game tonight, excepting the Keith Senior and Ryan Hall incident when they flung the ball around trying to come out of yardage. Leeds have been controlled and calm and collected, even though they haven't had a lot of good possession in the game. So, as I said, I think Brian McLennan will be very confident that his team can kick on a gear. St. Helens, they've looked really good. They have. They've taken the form from last week's game against Wigan into this game. They've played it quick. Leon Price is really trying to get involved in the game, as is John Wilkin, and that's a very, very good sign for St. Helens. However, I think they'll be a little worried that they're not being able to pressurise the Leeds Rhinos line a bit more.
Well, obviously they're looking for whatever chink in the armour. They're talking in there in the dressing room. We've just seen that right now. You know, if you're going to change anything, what would you change if you were McLennan or Potter? What would you do differently in the next 40 minutes?
Brian McLennan, I don't think he's going to change a whole lot. He's going to just try and ask his forwards for maybe a little bit more punch, and maybe just to speed that ruck up a little bit, allow Matt Diskin or Brent Webb to get out and run from dummy half, just to speed up the game a fraction. St Helens are going to have to look to try and put a little bit more on him on play 4 and play 5, either with a running option or something getting a better result off these kicks. The kicks are going up and they're not really getting the results. They need to be sort of kicking from inside the Leeds 20, little slide kicks in. It's difficult to stand them up if you kick them straight, but slide them in sideways and they should hold up in the in goal. I think that's what they're going to look for, a little bit more on tackle 4 and tackle 5.
OK, St Helens, they built an 8-point lead. Leeds came back and it's all square at half-time. So where's your money running now? Who has got the momentum with them here at Old?
Iron Brew sponsors Super League on Sky Sports. Super League on Sky Sports.
Well, domestically, the season is coming to an end for the players of the Super League. But internationally, it's only just beginning. Next Saturday, Wales against England. It's a warm-up match for the Four Nations. It's a 6 o'clock start, Sky Sports 3 and HD3. That game being played in Bridgend. And then the week after, the Four Nations starts live here on Sky Sports 2. It's and HD2. It's England-France at 7:30, followed quickly on the Saturday by a repeat of last year's World Cup final, 7:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2 again. Australia against New Zealand. So Four Nations duty awaits the players. But here at Old Trafford, we await the winner of the 2009 Grand Final. It's 8 points each. And Sean Long has 40 minutes left of his St Helens career. And he wants to go out a winner, and he would love nothing better than to go home with the Harry Sunderland Award as man of the match. Their squad boasts 56 Grand Final appearances collectively. Leeds exactly 50. So there's plenty of experience out there, but that is a dream start for the Rhinos. What a mess.
I cannot believe this. Aidy Gardner caught out a few occasions last week against Wigan. They pinpointed him as perhaps a weakness in their side. Well, Leeds have just found it.
Well, he may have missed some goal kicks, but he certainly placed that one in the right position, Sinfield. It's given them the first chance to score.
Indeed so, and here is Maguire on the first tackle for them. It's Diskin, 20 metres away, gives it to Sinfield. Here is Kirk, driving the ball in at Leon Price, helped out by James Roby. Diskin and Burrow. Burrow back it goes to Brent Webb. Movement all over the place here for Leeds. And Leeds supporters claiming a high challenge there by Matt Gidley, not given by Steve Ganson. Diskin gets the ball away a little untidily to Rob Burrow. Burrow now straightens it up. That's the fourth. 14 metres away from the line or thereabouts. Leeds Rhinos, opening set of 6. And Kevin Sinfield with a drop goal. He makes it 9-8. Leeds at the front for the first time. Well, whatever they have, they hold. Whenever they're down there, they get a point or two. That just gives Leeds the lead.
Obviously decided to take the pressure off him and his side. Psychologically, they have the lift, and they've taken points from being at the other end of the field. Great start for the Rhinos.
Well, it's good to come away with anything, but that 1 point, that really could boil down when it comes into the final seconds and the final minutes of this tense game. Got a quick thinking on, it looked as though Maguire was going to come up with a mistake.
Well, we had the first 8 points from St Helens in the opening 27 minutes. From minutes 29 to now, it's been 9 for Leeds. Diskin try, Smith try, and a Sinfield drop goal. I just wonder if he was thinking about level pegging at 80 minutes and going for the golden point an extra time. I wonder whether that was at the back of Kevin Sinfield's mind then, because that reduces the chances, that extra point. Diskin
Well, there's a lot less pressure on a goal kicker to drop a goal in the 45th minute or in the first 10 minutes after half-time than there would be in the last 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Or in the first minute of golden point extra time. Here's Gardner. His error gave Leeds the chance to be at that end of the field in the opening minute of the second half. Long dummy half. Gives it to Wellens.
It wasn't about tactic either, was it? Kicked straight away to Gardner, who came up with that error. Amazingly, in that first 40 minutes, Leeds, they came up with 6 errors. Saints only 3, but right from the kickoff, Gardner made it 4.
Long to Price. Wide to Wellens. Down it goes in the challenge from Keith Senior. There's Price. Flannery. That's the last one for St Helens, this set of 6. Long, the kick. Up it goes. Another tester for Webb, but it's straight at the Leeds full-back, and he's too good for that.
Well, we said there may be a doubt with the fitness of Brent Webb, but they've given him plenty of work. They've really got the forwards, turned him, twisted him.
There was no pressure on him then, though, Steve. The ball went straight up in the air.
It was probably the worst kick that we've seen from the Saints side.
No Lauatiti out there. Let's hear from Bill.
Yes, Eddie, Ali Lauatiti came off towards the end of that first half, and it seems that a teammate has trodden on his left ankle, and he's in quite a lot of pain. He was taken straight to the dressing room. The ankle is heavily iced. He is back out on the sidelines now, but it is touch and go according to the Leeds medical team whether Ali Lauatiti will be able to come back on, and that'd be a huge loss for them, because according to Brian McLennan, having missed last week with a virus, he has been absolutely buzzing in training, really jumping out of his skin to play this evening, and just in the brief time he was on the field, he was making an impact. So if he can't return, that's going to be a big blow.
It is indeed. Lauatiti is a game breaker, he's a game turner. I must say, though, when that kick came in from the Leeds Rhinos, it was they who were chasing the hardest. Saints were plodding back to get the right side of the ball for this drive away from their own territory here with Clough.
And maybe it was a tactic that Brian McLennan talked about at the half-time break in regarding going for that drop goal, and it wouldn't surprise me if they get anywhere near again on the last, they go for another one-pointer.
This is Roby. Fires the pass wide to Gidley. Gidley goes inside a couple, a little halfway. He finds Gardner, and Gardner for the corner. Great tackle in defence.
He's got to go to the screen on this one.
I think Ryan Hall's prevented it.
Yeah, I think so. The only break we've seen from Matt Gidley. Great action. Ryan Hall just gets to him, and then he slides away. Oh, that's shocking from Webb. The knees. Oh, there'll be something said about this. It's no try, because he hits the corner post before he gets the ball down. And I think he loses control either way, but that is a shocking attempt by Brent Webb.
Does he not ground the ball simultaneously as he hits the corner post?
I think you'll find the right elbow, Phil, just hit the corner post here, and here you'll see it there. I don't think this will be given.
I was going to say half his body's over the line anyway,
but it's
they're
not touching the floor.
top of the Leeds player, that's right.
It's only this impact, and if he touches it, it's deemed to be out.
I think his right foot has hit the sideline anyway and in touch on the other side, but I can't see this being awarded.
It would be controversial if it were.
It's got to be no try, surely.
Phil Bentham's decision is no try, but a penalty kick to the attack. That's for the challenge, I think, by Webb.
And he's got it absolutely spot on, and in fact, Ganson should have a little word in the ear of
Brent Webb. He wants a word with the skipper anyway.
Yeah, it was a shocking attempt.
Just listen, video referee, in his opinion, you've led with a knee, okay? That's why it's penalty attack, okay? Don't matter who the video referee is.
So the penalty is for the use of the knees in the challenge. Was that Kevin Sinfield saying who's the video referee? Maybe he wants just to strike a name off his Christmas card list.
I'll bet the calls come in now about why not a penalty try, and we could all decide that it wouldn't be, of course, but...
Well, here's Long, here's Price. He was missed by Lee Smith.
Took a huge gamble, didn't it, Smith? Came right out of the defensive line.
Price plays the ball to Roby. He finds Long. He pops it up then to Paul Clough. Clough goes on a run. The ever-present in the St Helens side, this fellow, the only one. Roby. Oh, on the bounce. Awful pass. Not the best from Roby, and that is not what Mick Potter wanted to see.
The pass was shocking. It was intended for Long, maybe. And Long had to stoop down. Not the best we've seen from the hooker James Roby, and he's furious. It's Sean Long. Errors like that will take that opportunity.
170 times he's pulled the St Helens jersey on, James Roby, and that's probably one of the worst passes that he's ever thrown in his life. Anyway, look at this St Helens defence now to try and pen Leeds back in their own territory, but big hit by Melly. Can Leeds get up the other end? Big hit back by Melly on Kirk. Here is Luke Burgess with a Sam off to Australia. Great offload. Here is Burrow. Suddenly the space out wide. Senior. St Helens were quick to pull him down.
How was that for confidence by the youngster Luke Burgess? Deep in his own quarter, and it has given Leeds the chance. Maguire step in.
Gets the ball away. Was he tackled? Peacock carries on. The referee says no, he wasn't tackled, so that's tackle number 4.
Hold, go.
Diskin. Bailey. Right over the top of Leon Price. You could hear the smack from up here then. Diskin. Back on halfway to Burrow. Slides the kick along the ground. Wellens to run it back.
And they're there in numbers. It's been a real feature, hasn't it, of this game from Leeds. The good kick and chase.
Well, they can both score tries, but they can both defend for their lives.
I think, Eddie, it's time that St Helens have got to make some change now. I think they've really suffered without James Graham and Tony Pulatua not being on the field, and as I speak, James Graham's just making his way on now. I do feel as though the ruck has been a bit slower without those two guys being on the field.
So Graham is on for Murray Farsavalu, Long with the kick from halfway, and I think Brent Webb will just let this run down the hill, which he does.
Will Tinfield kick it here, Eddie? Yes, he will. Oh, he went for it. Stopped, wasn't he?
He was, and
stopped from doing it because Gardner had just realised that he should have gone back. He had him cold. Sinfield do it.
Yes, it's an optional kick restart. They can tap it as they generally do, but they can kick for touch if they want. Look, he thought about it.
He wanted to do it, and you know, Gardner was caught cold out there.
Steve Ganson did not blow the whistle, said he couldn't take it. Here goes Brent Webb. Good tackle by Long.
Good tactics as well by the Rhinos. They're starting to spread it out wide. Give the ball plenty of air. They're missing man out.
This is Ryan Hall, struggling to his feet. Plays the ball though to Burrow. Now it's Maguire. Pops it up to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Good grab made forward by him. Wants to get on with it quickly. Looking to encourage the referee to blow the whistle for a penalty. Up it goes off the boot of Maguire. Oh, this is a curler. Nelly did well. Got rid of it quickly to Wellens. Sinfield. That's a flop by Bailey. That could have been penalised.
Should have been. Missed by the official. He took it well there. Watch it. That's got to be a penalty. And that's really surprised me. He's had a good game so far to Steve Ganson.
Leeds have upped the ante. They've nosed in front and they're visibly lifted the second half. Look at this tackling. Roby under pressure from Peacock gets a good kick away. That's an excellent kick.
It has to be as well, but I must say there's a problem, I think, for James Graham. That impact before really took the stuffing out of him.
Pulatua comes on for Bryn Hargreaves. Rob Burrow. Now, Maguire, wide, Lee Smith. Look right and look for his winger, he's not there. Scott Donald now comes across to the touchline.
It'd be interesting to see whether Brian McLennan gets a message out and say, right, 2 half-backs, Maguire, Burrow, this is the time to ask a few questions when the defence is getting a little bit tired.
Peacock, strong run. Grounded on halfway, that's the last. Diskin gives it to Sinfield, here's another kick. High again, into the Manchester night air. Out it comes into the arms of Wellens, and Wellens gives it to Gardner. And Gardner, big hit then by Ryan Hall. It's the Leeds fans who are singing at the moment, because they know, as we watch, that it's the Rhinos who have got the game at the moment by the scruff of the neck. Here's Price. It was a possible 40-20, but he didn't have the angle right. He had to hurry it because Sinfield closed him down. Webb goes down in the tackle of James Roby. Leon Price hasn't sparked yet. This is time due with half an hour to go.
Kyle!
Maguire.
It's all about having the confidence, and it just looks to me as though Leon Price is just shading it. Just wanting to just get on to the kicks on the last tackle.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan will run it. He'll go down on the challenge from Long. That's tackle number 4. Jamie Jones wants a penalty.
Oh, that should have been a knock-on.
That is a knock-on. Well, Jamie Jones-Buchanan was furious then. He didn't get the penalty, and his frustration shows.
I think that's the fatigue showing as well, Eddie. The game had just been played for the last 5 minutes at full pace. He's gone up and lost control. His lungs are bursting, his heart's beating out of his chest, as are many of the other players. And physically, this now is a test of how hard you're prepared to push your body.
But you've also got to have that composure, okay? He got one in the teeth, but if the official misses it, you just got to get on with the game. And you could see the concern written on the face of the coach, Brian McLennan. Composure would be a key right the way to the end of this game. A silly penalty given away could just send it.
10th, or rather 10 out of 12 grand finals so far have gone to the team finishing first and second, and of those, 6 of the previous grand finals have gone to the team that came out on top after the weekly round. So at the moment, the script's going according to plan for the Leeds Rhinos.
This is where Price really has to inject himself, surely.
Well, here is Long. Over the top it goes, looking for Gardner, but all he does is find Ryan Bailey, who in turn is found, I beg your pardon, Ryan Hall, the other Ryan, who in turn is found by the Saints defence, who are then too quickly out of the box and are caught offside.
Again, it's all down to that composure. You've got to, okay, we get a good kick right into the corner. Did well, didn't he? Ryan Hall read it ever so much, and then they just lose the concentration.
Here's Bailey. Low penalty count, only 9. 54 minutes or thereabouts on the watch. Peacock. Diskin. Sinfield.
I've been impressed with the way that Leeds have shared the work as well. It doesn't just mean a couple of forwards taking all that responsibility.
Sean Long then was all over Keith Senior when he got that. And Kieran Cunningham, concerned look. He came on start of the match, but we haven't seen much of him since. Sinfield's chip over the top. Melly has to deal with it under pressure from Donald. Kyle Eastman on his own line gives it to his fullback Wellens. Leeds sniffing the opportunity here.
And look at the blue and amber chases. He knows he's under pressure. Beautiful kick, from Sinfield there. They'll try to pen them down. Well, it's amazing. The first 30 minutes of this game, Saints were just crunching their opposites. And now it's just turned around. The Rhinos pack are ripping him apart.
It's a 40-20 attempt this by Roby. Couldn't get it over the head of Ryan Hall though. Did well, Ryan Hall, and did well with that tackle, didn't he, on A.D. Gardner. He is the top try scorer in the competition, but he's a try saver tonight. Admittedly, the penalty was forthcoming, but was for no indiscretion of his, and that's another knock-on.
It's a shocking attempt to play the ball.
Well, he said get up and play the ball, and he's not picked it up, has he? But
no, he hasn't regained it. I think he may have got a knock.
I don't understand why that's not a penalty, though. I don't see how that's a scrum. If you haven't played the ball correctly, you've got one hand on the ground. That, to me, that's a penalty.
Well, St Helens with Eastman. And Brian McLennan looks shocked about something or other. Oof. Good hit that by Maguire on Roby. Here is Graham, short ball. Leeds are forcing St Helens down the middle. They can't get them out wide. They cannot get the ball out wide yet.
Got to keep their eye on Roby, though. You could go on a solo.
Here's Long. Pops the ball back to Pulatua.
Obstruction.
Here is Gilmore. This is Eastman. Here is Melly. Leeds defence stands firm again. Now it's with Price being closed down quickly. Graham keeping it alive. Wellens, strength. He pushes off Diskin. Finds Clough. They've got the man out wide. He's gone the wrong way. Clough will come up the middle. I think that Flannery then, he had Gidley and he had Gardner outside him and came the wrong way. Long stabs the kick in. Easy for Maguire.
Very alert by the standoff, Danny Maguire. Had to be as well. The well-placed kick there from Sean Long. Now then, can they get to it? That is wonderful work there. Kyle Eastman. They're up in the tempo now.
Yes, it's St Helens' turn to turn up the wick. Nothing to choose between these two great sides. 57 minutes on the watch. 9-8. Leeds just have their fingertips on the trophy. Sliced kick. Melly takes it. Referee says they're all onside from the kick. Melly gets Saints to halfway on the first.
Well, it was good work by Lee Smith, who put the kick in. He arrived there, so put everybody onside.
Wellens for St Helens. Beat Leeds 26-18 at home in Super League. Lost at Headingley 18-10. Won in the Challenge Cup in April. Here, when it matters most. St Helens trailing 9-8. But with Pulatua. Now with Long. Clatter to the ground is Long unfairly.
Yeah, it was very high. Lunawai. Now, will they go for the two? I'd certainly take it. Oh, it was Burrows, actually. Oh, apologies to Lunawai. Well, they jumped up to the halfback. Bang, finished up.
Goal. I think Lunawai got Burrow, actually. And St Helens have decided they're going to kick for goal here.
Well, you've got to. You know, Mick Potter says, hey, we've got an opportunity. He has every confidence. Kyle Eastman.
The question was asked of Steve Ganson, what for? He said high shot. And Rob Burrow, who is probably, along with Kyle Eastman, the smallest man on the field, shook his head. It's got to be a high shot if Rob Burrow catches you high, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, he jumped into it. The first impact was on the shoulder, but it's where it finished up, and that's the reason why that man in your screen said, I'll give this boy a chance to put them into the lead.
Absolutely the right decision. 17 points have been scored in 60 minutes of rugby league. It doesn't look like a runaway game for either side here. The defences of both sides have been absolutely outstanding. There's no question. This could easily get down to a one-point game.
And this to give St Helens a one-point lead. Eastman, 20 years of age, steadies the nerves. Kicks the goal. 10-9. All the points from Kyle Eastman. Listen to this, 279 tries between these two clubs in the weekly round. 3 in a grand final so far. Defence wins matches.
What's also interesting now, Eddie, is whether it will change the way that the sides play, whether you're in front or behind by 1 point. Does it alter your mindset? Does it alter the amount of energy that you have or the desperation in your side? It almost seems to have lifted St Helens massively. The 2 points there, the significant lead, still a long time to go.
There is a long time to go. We are going to hit the hour mark with St Helens just a 1 point to the good. Clough gets to within 10 of halfway on tackle number 3. Roby waits. Will go right and find Price. Price to halfway. Roby again. Long. Hits that at pace. Here is Flannery. Good tackle low down by Senior. Will he be tempted, Keith Senior, out of international retirement for the Four Nations? High kick.
That's a big kick.
High kick from Long, but dealt with easily by Brent Webb. Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie, there's no sign of Ali Lawatiti coming off the bench in this crucial closing quarter. It looks as though the ankle problem is going to keep him out. Meanwhile, Kieran Cunningham, his right hand heavily strapped, broken bone and all, is back out there. And I have been sitting just a metre away from the Saints bench. Kieran Cunningham directly behind him. And you can feel the aura coming off him, the desire to get back out there, to get involved in this crucial phase of the game. And he's just about to do that.
He's got the number 8 card, which means it's the 8th interchange by St Helens. He's waiting to come on as St Helens deal with the threat from Keith Senior. That's the last tackle, this set of 6. Here's the kick from Maguire. Raking kick as well. Just stands up in front of the posts. It's the Leeds chasers who are after Melly. Great strength from Melly.
Yeah, super stuff. It was a beautiful kick as well by Danny Maguire. You could see he had the backspin on the ball.
Wellens. What a run from that man though, Francis Melly. Tell you what, if they won a competition or ran a competition for the best haircuts in Super League, Long and Melly would probably win it. This is Gidley.
What about those 4 tacklers there, Eddie? Not one of them has gone 5 metres wide of the goalpost. They've driven straight down the heart of this Leeds defence and they continue to go there.
Boy, they were looking to get away with that. It was an awful pass there from Cunningham. It looked forward to me.
Cunningham's a dummy half. Long will hoist the kick under pressure. He was hit after it went by Ablett. That's easy for Webb again. But if he's injured, if he's unfit, if he's unsure, he's proving 1 or 2 doubters wrong tonight, Brent Webb.
Oh, he's had a great game. He's been outstanding.
What it does though, Eddie, it gives the St Helens players who have to tackle Webb a chance to get up there and tackle him before he gets to full speed when he's at his evasive best.
St Helens now trying to cut the options down for Leeds. This is Luluai. 4 tackles gone. They've only made 18 metres forward. Will they kick early here? No, it's with Burgess.
I think they realise they've still got plenty of time though, Eddie.
Maguire. Good defence from Cunningham.
They don't have to panic the Rhinos. Just get in a good position.
Sinfield with the kick towards those posts again. That will hang. That will have to be run back.
Wonderful stuff.
Wellens will just take the tackle. No risky business from Paul Wellens. His team just hit the front.
Oh, lack of concentration.
Knock on. Knock on, says Steve Johnson. Well, did he touch it?
I don't think he did.
Is a forward pass, is it? Has that been what he's given?
Well, St Helens, see here, he must have given a forward pass, Eddie, because he doesn't touch the ball, he pulls away from it. Look, they thought the hinges on the door were creaking and they just blasted down the middle of the field, hoping that going through the heart of the Leeds Rhinos, play after play after play, will take them downfield quick enough to get some more points. We're into the final quarter, Eddie, and it's a real test.
It is a real test, and this is a real test of the Saints' defence. And Maguire steps out of one challenge. You can't get away from it. Oh, brilliantly away! Eastman on his back, and Maguire flicked the pass to Scott Donald. That's Lee Smith, now it's Jamie Peacock.
They've been lucky to get away with this because it was a controversial decision, wasn't it?
Burrow, here's Burgess. Luke Burgess drives it in, that's a knock-on.
That'll be strong. Headed feed.
Chris Flannery hand, it's snaked out instinctively.
Just got that fingertip through. Sinfield perhaps thought he was heading for the post, but they do know they get possession. They'll camp down here. Will Maguire take them on?
Time back on.
Here we go. Sinfield from the back of the scrum. Can't get away from Flannery. That's how close Leeds Rhinos are. 9 metres. Luluai met by Cunningham. Still going, Luluai. Oh, he's lost it. Penalty.
Penalty. He'll turn the two.
Two's on offer.
They won't turn this guy. Luluai, Cunningham. He rattled the arm, carrying the ball. Cunningham tried to get away with it.
the whistle came down from Steve Ganson's mouth.
Without a doubt. In fact, it wouldn't have surprised me to run out on the pitch himself and say, we're taking the two here. Surely they can't miss this. He will be hoping that this man does not slip in the run-up.
Well, he's the top goal kicker in Super League, and he has been for the last 3 years. This is bang in front. Kevin Sinfield will not miss this, and Leeds will be ahead by 11 points to 10, and every point tonight is absolutely vital. 11-10, Barry McDermott.
Kevin Sinfield's kicking game tonight has been absolutely superb. It's only complemented by the kick chase. Most teams get excited when they have the ball. Leeds Rhinos tonight get excited when they kick the ball and they get a chance to tackle.
Well, the penalty came because Cunningham got a bit excited, didn't he? He just knocked the arm, knocked the ball. It was ruled unfair by Steve Ganson, quite rightly. Penalty to Leeds. And the kick-off almost foxed Carl Ablett. Well, 1 point in it and 15 minutes remaining.
Well, we're entering the part of the game now, the last 15 minutes, as you say, Eddie. This is where most mistakes are made. The fatigue factor really comes in. The game's been played at breakneck pace. You cannot keep playing at that intensity for a full 80 minutes. You think you can, but you start to miss tackles. You start to make poor decisions with passes. You start to drop balls. You kick out on the full. You give penalties away because you're out of position. All sorts of things can happen in this next 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And it's incredible when you think it's all started way back in the winter, the depths of winter in February, and that these two sides' season now rests on the next 15 and a half minutes.
And not only that, Mick Potter has got a big decision to make. Does he send out the message? If we get anywhere near the post, do we go for the one? Do we tie it up, or do we try to win it? It's a big question that's got to be asked out there.
Well, from a neutral point of view, let's hope Mick Potter is saying let's tie it up at 11 all, because I'll have this till midnight, thanks. It's been a tremendous contest, as you would expect, from the two best teams in the Engage Super League.
It's been the toughest grand final we've seen for a long time.
Long just slides the kick in. He's happy to let that run dead, and St Helens will line up. Now then, will Sinfield have a look and see? Well, he knows that Melly's dropped back on this side, but Gardner hasn't over that side.
He has to be told yet again. Sean Long says, what are you doing here? Get back.
Go.
Thought about it for a minute, Kevin Sinfield. He certainly did.
Well, Melly did the right thing, and he's thinking, oh, I should be back, I should be back.
He hasn't scored in the last 4. Eddie can the possession, Leeds. Saints takes the scrum.
Burgess has just come up with an error. And
the Saints players are asking for offside.
St Helens asking for offside,
it touches the head of Flannery though before any Leeds player came into contact with the ball.
It's an automatic knock-on as soon as it touched the Saints player.
Okay.
But do they do 3 or 4 drives? I think I'd be asking that. I'd be saying, let's tie it up, and then we'll get the ball back from the kickoff.
And they go for the win, Steve-O. Go for the win first, see how it goes in the next 4 tackles, and then you can't go for draws in this game, Steve-O.
Want to bet?
The Ashes are on at stake. Here is Long. This is Price. Good drive from Price, 3 tackles gone. I think they might have 2 more goes, and then we'll see. Flannery.
Sean Long is shouting.
Well, he's lined up, he is. It's with Long. No. Oh, maybe he should have done. Gilmore, it was a horrible pass. Wellens. Nelly! Oh, Eastman! Oh, no, there is a big decision here for Phil Benton coming up. It could be the second try. It could be the second try for Eastman. Did him touch or corner flag?
Did his leg touch it? Oh, that's close.
That's even closer.
That's all. He's got his foot up. This is where the impact. I don't think his heel touches it. That's fine.
His heel's in the air.
Yeah. But does the toe touch it? I think that proves that it has. But even so, I think that they've got to him, and his body hits the corner post. But that looks so clear to me that he's hit the whitewash.
Does it from that angle. I think if he grounds this ball, Eddie, you've got to give it a try.
Oh, we're talking here millimetres.
Incredible.
I think you'd also take the judge's opinion, wouldn't you?
Well, on that one, it looks as though it's touching the line. Half the boot is touching it. But he'll roll it on and see whether his body hits a corner flag. They're coming at him.
That heel is raised.
That's fine. That's not a problem. That's okay.
He said play on twice, obviously, here. So is he happy with that?
Step by step, Eddie.
Now then, this is the next one. Does he hit the flag?
What a tackle from Sinfield.
Yes, he does hit the flag.
Yeah, fantastic work from Sinfield. This will be turned down, and listen to the groans from the red and white, and the cheering from the blue and amber.
No try, a 20-metre restart, but St Helens so close. But Captain Courageous, Kevin Sinfield to the rescue. Eastman, he scored all the points. He scored it, thought he got 4 more then. Sinfield had other ideas. That could be the moment when the grand final's won.
I think you're right, and also, maybe, remember, it looked as though Sean Long was setting up to go for the 1 point and then decided to kid them. Long ball out wide, Eastman so close. I don't think they'll turn another opportunity down.
Well, the clock now is ticking, and there's a relieved man. Luke Burgess, there is a relieved man. Burrow says, let's go for territory.
And it's gone early.
What a kick!
They went in the 4th.
They've done that all night. Terry O'Connor was very close to that. What do you think, Ted?
It was right in front of me, Eddie, and you want your big players to come up with some big plays. Kevin Sinfield has come from 20 metres away to come up with that tackle. Kyle Eastman looked for all that he was going to score that try, but that big player, Kevin Sinfield, come up with probably the biggest tackle of the game.
Biggest tackle of the year. If it is the difference between winning and losing this grand final, that was the biggest tackle of the year. But there's still 10 minutes to go. Graham. Remember the tackle, of course, that the man at dummy half now, Sean Long, made last week to stop Wigan from him being here. And Phil Clark will know exactly what Kyle Eastman thinks about from when he was a toddler at Wembley, which we saw on boots and all.
The foot on the line was okay, but the corner flag obviously denied it.
No tears from Kyle Eastman, though. Webb, wide to Donald.
You couldn't ask for a better last 10 minutes to a season. The two best teams, with 1 point separating them, 10 minutes to go. It's a perfect finale to what's been a great Super League season.
Isn't it just?
Going to be an important kick and chase this now on the Leeds Rhinos.
I just wonder if there is a twist in the tail.
There always is.
They're running it Leeds. They're running it Leeds with Webb. Now then. That's the last.
Will it go for length or will it go for height? They've gone for length.
It's a great kick again. Now it'll stand in the in-goal area. Lee Smith's after it. Lee Smith gets to Helens, but Helens does ever so well. Melly, that is playing. Oh, Melly's dropped it. I was about to say he's playing like another forward, and he's just gifted the possession to Leeds. This is the Rhinos' big chance.
What an error.
Diskin, Bailey. A 6-pointer here would put Leeds 7 points clear inside the last 10 minutes, and they are so close. Down goes Peacock. Never played that ball.
To be fair, a Saints player was in the area of that play the ball.
Burrow. Down goes Jamie Jones. 4 tackles gone. Brent Webb gives it to Sinfield. Sinfield tries to stab it into the in-goal area. He's going to ask for 6 to go here. He's going to get 6 to go here. That was played at.
Was it played? That'd be interesting.
Burrow to senior. Will the grand old man? No, not this time. Burrow. Bailey. St Helens hold him out. out.
Scott Donald is screaming for the ball. They've got him down.
Great work. Great work from Wellens on the floor.
Great stuff. So close. Diskin looking for his second. And Wellens got well and truly underneath it. That was amazing. Scott Donald was screaming on this right-hand side. Get the kick away.
Sinfield. Peacock. Peacock the left, pumping towards the line again. Diskin scampers into dummy half once more. Will he do it again? No, it'll come back to Maguire. Maguire will stab the kick in. Lee Smith! Second try for Lee Smith. It is not given yet. Brian McClellan celebrating Lee Smith on his farewell appearance is buried under Leeds players, but we have not got the decision yet. It is such a big call. Steve Ganson's done right. Oh, he might be offside.
I think it's offside.
He's offside.
It's where his foot is, but I think it's just offside. Oh, this is a big call again for Phil Bentham. It's a beautifully weighted kick by Maguire. The high shot, maybe. Oh, this is very difficult indeed.
Well, he's quit, Lee Smith.
There's not much in it, Eddie, but I think it's just in front.
Oh, on that angle I do, but
yeah,
we need that eye in the sky.
Well, more of his body seems to be in front.
Yeah.
I think Lee Smith's been fantastic tonight. This is his last game for Leeds. He's certainly been one of his best, Eddie. Now, I don't think they'll be scored this try. And then we've got 7 minutes just over with Saints in possession, tap penalty. They've got to find a good kick to touch.
But this is a massive call from Phil Bentham, and he's right to take every frame and every second available.
Well, you've got to have both feet behind the kicker, haven't you? Both feet must be behind the kicker. I just think there's doubt there as to whether that's the case. And it would surprise me if he gives this try, I've got to say. The time he hits the ball now, watch Kevin Sinfield hit that ball. There's a massive doubt as to whether Lee Smith's onside, and I think in that situation, you can't give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking side.
No, I'm with you. I think this will be turned down.
Hang on, they're rolling it on. Hang on, they're going to look at the grounding, are they? They're going to look at the grounding.
Oh,
this is going to be given.
This is going to be a big call. And everybody in this ground that's wearing blue and amber, they think it's going to be given.
And so do I now. It could be the biggest controversial moment of the year. It is! Lee Smith, second try on his farewell appearance in the grand final, but there is more than a question mark about that.
I'm with you, Eddie, but obviously Phil Bentham has felt that Maguire's boot was in front of Smith. That's the only reason he could have given this, is that the left boot, and watch it again. Boy, he gets there quickly. We see it. He is a very quick centre, no doubt about it. That's with the 6 to go. I'm not so sure that that was played at. Either way.
He is a natural ball try and score, Eddie, and he just knows where to be at the right time.
You'd have a difficulty taking it off Brian McClellan at that moment. Leeds has the excellent commanded front. It's 17-10, but there is controversy all over that decision. Barry McDermott.
Eddie, we saw Lee Smith score that try, but just the set of 6 before that, we saw Lee Smith's intensity in defence force Francis Melly to knock that ball on. There's no doubt of the quality and the skill in that try. Danny Maguire kicks it with his left foot. Lee Smith gets Leeds back on the scoreboard.
Well, I'm hearing the video referee Phil Bentham was convinced that both feet were behind the ball. Smith's leaning very much into the play, but both feet, according to the video referee, were behind the ball. And there it is.
I'm not so sure, Eddie.
Well, I wouldn't be a referee, first of all.
They'll be talking
I wouldn't be a video referee tonight. And Phil Bentham's had some shockers.
And don't be surprised if Leeds even take it further, go for the 1 point just to rub it in. That's a neat little kick through. That's going to put pressure on Melly.
That decision, by the way, and we've got all the tools and all the tricks and everything else here tonight. We gave Phil Bentham the best view of that. That was from the rail camera that runs the length of the ground here on this side of the field. And it's come up trumps for Leeds. It could win them the grand final. There it is. That's the camera, folks. If you're a St Helens fan, blame that.
They'll be wanting to take a pot shot at it, won't they?
Hope no one's got a catapult.
It's just a shame that such a controversial decision, because this has been one mighty game. Both sides have given everything. They've got to test their arm now, Saints.
That's not the best kick from long. At this moment, with less than 5 to go and a 7-point lead, it looks like Sean Long bows out a loser. And Leeds write history if they hang on here.
And the most important factor is that early kick from Sinfield, a one-pointer, barely minutes after the restart. They know that they've got that comfort zone. They know that even if Saints break away and score the try, they'll still have that 1 point lead. This is up the jumper time and then kick and chase.
Diskin, Bailey, in no hurry.
He's worked hard, Bailey.
But Brian McLennan was celebrating that try. I wonder how Mick Potter feels. Because it looks like he's going to be the first Saints coach in 6 years to end the season with nothing. Gardner plays the ball to Long. It's the last throw of the dice for St Helens now. Roby, Long, Price, Gilmore, he's another one. Might be going home or going away from St Helens on the wrong side of the scoreline. Pulatua, Roby running it.
The one thing that will please the Leeds coach Brian McLennan is the fact that their ability to close down some of the star players in this St Helens side.
Eastman, scored all 10 points.
Yeah, and
they're going to end up on the losing side.
But they've done a good job in keeping him, and especially Matt Gidley. Only one clean break from Gidley tonight.
Well, they're risking everything now, St Helens. They are risking everything. Gardner. Leeds job.
Kick over the top, surely.
Oh, hello. It's a wide to West moment. It's wide this time to Eastman. Flicked. Play on. Play on. Donald. 2 3/4 minutes remaining. Leeds only need to hang on for it. When? Only need to hang on to the football now, Leeds Rhinos. They've only lost 2 of the last 18 since the end of April. They finished top of the table. They will be worthy champions. They've defended the trophy in style.
And that's the key factor. Defend, and that's what they've done. And he'll be very pleased indeed. He's coming down to the sidelines, surely. It's for celebration.
Yes, he wants some of the champagne before it's sprayed all over the place. Last tackle. Burrow, drop goal! And that wins it. 18-10. There is no comeback now. Rob Burrow, drop goal. His 270th appearance for the Rhinos. His 5th grand final. Man of the match here in 2007. He hasn't scored a point in the last 4.
And they've got away with it from the kickoff. They'll get the head and feed. Surely they can't stage something miraculous. It was a beautiful drop kick though, wasn't it, from Rob Burrow?
Not even Saints can score 2 tries in a minute 20.
They formed the scrum as quickly as they can. They were celebrating Leeds. They lost their composure. They left it wide open and they took advantage, did Saints.
Rob Burrow's only scored 4 drop goals in his entire career. 2 of them have come on this ground. Eastman. Penalty, obstruction. Leeds have won the grand final.
sheer frustration.
Well, there's finger pointing and there's tongues wagging. There's disappointment for Kyle Eastman, there's disappointment for Saints, there's joy for Leeds. There it is, definite.
He couldn't get out of the way, Leon Price. And this penalty is just mere confirmation and the sadness on this young fella. He's given his best as Kyle Eastman, as Eddie has mentioned, scored all the points for the red and whites, but it's Leeds again. They've fought their way back. Remember, like last year, St. Helens took the lead, but Leeds have shown their power.
It's boiling, it's simmering, now it's simmering.
Let's hope there's time for one more tackle, Eddie.
Just kicking it, oh, he's going for two. Kevin Sinfield's going for two. No, is he? No. Well, they've got to restart, haven't they? They've got to restart. He's called time off. He's given it, and I think that's the right decision from Steve Ganson. It's not within the rules officially, but it's the right decision. Oh, anything could have happened there.
Yeah, someone could have gone for a cheap shot. We don't want that. But the celebration and the jubilation. History has been made here tonight at Old Trafford. The Rhinos, 3 years on the trot.
And Brian McLennan becomes the first man to win back-to-back titles as a coach in the Super League. And Lee Smith, he departs the scene with a 2-try performance at Old Trafford in the grand final. An epic season and an epic match to bring the curtain down.
Sadly, a lot of controversy, and they'll be talking about that try. Lee Smith, the kick from Danny Maguire. According to the video referee Phil Bentham, he said that Lee Smith was behind the kick. It was a difficult one to make any decision.
Well, he said both feet were behind the ball, so Lee Smith got 2 tries, and here's his biggest prize of the night. He's going to talk to Bill.
Lee, you're not going to hang around and wonder whether you were or you weren't offside. You just had to go for it.
I guess, yeah. I don't know what to say, really. It's unreal. Obviously it's my last game, and I didn't want it to end anything like better than this.
You couldn't have wished for more than, a hat trick probably would have capped it all, but that would be being greedy.
And I'll settle for a win. It don't matter who scores the tries. They're a great set of lads, and I've met some awesome people, what are friends for life, and I'll still keep in touch, and fans, I'll miss all them, but I'll still be supporting these lads, and I wish them all the luck in the future.
You're not having regrets, are you?
I've made my decision, and I thought it was the right decision at and something I've got to do, and something I want to do, and I couldn't have wished for a better time at Leeds. It's been great, and you never know, I may one day be back, but we'll see.
2 tries for you, but crucially, match-saving probably tackle from Kevin Sinfield. Kevin, probably won't make a bigger tackle than that in your career.
What a game. A bit emotional now, but Saints are a champion side, and I've said it before, but people might not know, in a salary cap sport, to keep the guys we have is great management from Gary and Bluey and everyone who's played a part, but these guys are playing for a special group because they could go to any team in the game and earn more money, but they're prepared to sacrifice a few extra quid to have memories like this and to play for this great club, and they're a selfish bunch to deserve everything they get.
Seems like ages ago, but when you think about the first half hour of this game, you were right under the cosh.
Yeah, they're a champion side, aren't they? We knew they'd come at us. We knew they'd be hurting from the last couple of years, and you can only dream of nights like this. To do 3 in a row is something really special, and
to be captain for 4 as well.
Yeah, it's magic. I'm the lucky one that gets the trophy. There's a load of leaders in that side, as you can see tonight when he chips it down. JP puts his hand up, Big Keith does, Disco, every one of them at different times, and it's a pleasure to play with.
Thanks, Kevin. Well done.
Well, an emotional Kevin Sinfield, the first captain to win that trophy 4 times, and Brian McLennan, the first coach to win back-to-back titles here. But Chris Flannery and the rest of the St Helens team absolutely heartbroken. It was interesting what Kevin Sinfield was saying there, because he said exactly the same at the Leeds Rhinos annual presentation dinner when he was named the Leeds Player of the Year. And there's been all sorts of talk about this fella moving on, and there was rumours that he was going here, there and everywhere. And he said to the people that night that he was a Leeds Rhino for the rest of his life. And the sentiments that he expressed there, he expressed that night as well.
He's a fine leader. It's disappointment on the face of Mick Potter. He knows they gave it everything. Leon Price, Leeds did a very good job on closing him down throughout the entire 80 minutes. He had a magical first 30 minutes, didn't he, this fella, Sean Long? He controlled it. It looked as though it was going to be a wonderful farewell in a Saints shirt. The error, of course, from this man, that played its part, didn't it? Allowed them the opportunity for that controversial try. But I think you have to agree that the better side won on the night.
It's remarkable when you consider what Leeds have achieved without Greg Eastwood, the replacement for Gareth Ellis.
Phil, we'll come back to you in a moment, and we've got to get downstairs because there's Sean Long who's going to talk to Bill.
Sean, thanks very much for talking to us, because for so long, certainly in the first half, you had that game in the grip, and then it just got away from you.
Yeah, you know, we built a lot of pressure in the first half, and, you know, full credit to Leeds. The defence was superb tonight, and, you know, I think we didn't take our chances sometimes, but, you know, that's off to Leeds. You know, they played an awesome game and they took the chances. It's all right having all that pressure and not coming away with nothing. Sometimes it's a bit gutting, you know what I mean?
Saints fans are going to be looking at that second Lee Smith try. Was he onside or offside? I mean, would you claim that as maybe a crucial turning point, crucial decision in the game?
Yeah, it's a massive decision in the game, but, you know, it's irrelevant, isn't it? You know, we still needed a drop goal or a try, whatever. But, you know, I mean, you know, stuff for words really, if I said, but, you know, I thought they deserved the win. Leeds took the chances, and at the end of the day, they won.
And for you, it's not the way you wanted to end your Saints career.
Yeah, it's not a fairy tale ending, is it? You know what I mean? But nah, it's, you know, defeat. A bit gutting, really, obviously, but you know, life goes on.
Best of luck at Hull.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Disappointment for Sean Long, but joy for Kevin Sinfield and the Leeds Rhinos, obviously. And Kevin Sinfield is first up because he gets the Harry Sunderland award as man of the match, and he's won the Lance Todd Trophy as well in a Challenge Cup final, so he joins an exclusive band of players to win both major domestic and individual honours. The man of the match, Kevin Sinfield. It must have been on the back of a great kicking game, but also, Phil, on the back of that try-saving tackle that has just about won the grand final for Leeds.
Yes, and some great leadership that he's shown for his side here tonight, and I think throughout the course of the season. I was just making the point, Leeds have achieved the ability of retaining the trophy without having lost Gareth Ellis, one of the best players, and the man tasked to replace him, Greg Eastwood, never arrived. Add to that the fact that Danny Badeiras has only played for half of the season. They've done really well.
Andrew Haig from Engage Mutual, the title sponsors. And, well, Phil Bentham's been quick to get onto the sideline to pick up his medal. He had a very difficult job as the video referee tonight, receiving their award, as I say, from Andrew Haig and Richard Lewis, the chairman of the Rugby Football League. They'll be disappointed, Saints, for the third year in a row. They're going up first to receive their losers' medals.
You'd have to agree that these are by far the best two sides, and they gave it everything to the Saints. But we mentioned the fact he was a bit of a carbon copy as from last year, wasn't it? Saints, last season, they controlled it for 30 minutes. They did exactly the same thing here. But the game of rugby league lasts for 80 minutes. And I suppose in many ways, they had to dig deep, Leeds, mainly due for the fact that their great ball player, Ali Lauatiti, had to leave the field. Brian McLennan knew that he didn't have any opportunity to bring him back on, so that left a lot of hard work for the other substitutes, which I really did. I thought Bailey, Kirk and Luke Burgess, I thought they played their part.
I think they shared the workload so much better, didn't they, Steve-O? They had to come on. They knew Ali Lauatiti wasn't going to come back, and they've been absolutely tremendous here today, tonight in victory. They've really worked hard. They've thoroughly deserved the victory. They did take their opportunities when they presented. And I think they just showed at St Helens tonight. I think St Helens showed at different times that they could have won this match. They didn't quite take any advantage of some half chances perhaps that we created, and Leeds have shown why they're a champion side. 3 years in a row, magnificent.
Yes, magnificent achievement from the club, and magnificent achievement for Jamie Peacock as well, who went through the screen first. A record 6 wins in a grand final. He's only got 5 rings on for one hand, so I don't know what he's going to do with the 6th. But anyway, he's won 6, and Ali Lauatiti limps his way up as well. And Brian McLennan, well, he's made a bit of history, his club have. And Kevin Sinfield will make a speech to the crowd, and he will then pick up the Super League trophy. Let's hear from the Leeds skipper right now.
I'd just like to say thank you to St Helens, the champion side. Thanks to the officials. Thanks to Engaging Sky for putting on another great year of rugby league. Thanks to the lads. You've been outstanding again. You deserve everything you get. I'd like to thank our club sponsors, Leeds Rugby Society, Leeds Met, Cobbitts. I'd like to thank our fans, you're the best in the world. Thank you. And finally, this win tonight is dedicated to John Holmes. Thank you.
A very nice touch from the Leeds Rhinos captain, Kevin Sinfield. And so, for the 3rd year in a row, they have won a grand final night at Old Trafford. Champions 2007, champions 2008, champions 2009. And what a delighted coach, backroom staff and playing staff. They've won it again, and they'll back, I'll tell you, going for 4 in 2010. Leeds Rhinos are the champions. Club, a great team. 3 in a row, Steve-O. Fantastic.
And you can see it etched on their faces that they are enjoying the glory, especially that man. And my mind keeps going back to that magnificent tackle. It looked for all the world that Kyle Eastman could have switched the game and won it for the red and white. But Captain Courageous, magnificent tackle into the corner. And you talk about team spirit, you talk about enjoyment. Some coaches, they like to be very placid. Imagine 2 o'clock in the morning when you get to the side of this block, they'll get it. And you've got to also assess it, Eddie, that we have the England captain actually playing under Kevin Sinfield. You know, Jamie Peacock, he's the skipper of the national team, and yet you cannot take away the fact that Kevin Sinfield is a magnificent leader of men.
Talking of Jamie Peacock, he's got 6 winners' rings now. Here he is with Bill.
And he's in very good voice. You're in very good voice. That was a, hang on, 37.
Yeah, that was the best one of them all so far for me. I mean, that was a real battle out there, wasn't it? I mean, give St Helens credit, they really ripped into us. It was just that little bit too good in the end. I mean, the lads were brilliant.
What made it tougher than the others then? What was so special tonight?
I didn't play that much, and it was a real arm wrestle and a battle, more like a battle of will at the end. Yeah, I mean, the lads have been brilliant all year. Just like to say something to the 18-man, Simon Morrow. He kind of sums up what's it like at our club. He's not been big, played last week, took on the chin and just got on with it for the rest of the lads, and that's the kind of culture we got going here, you know. That's why we come away and won it in the end.
3 in a row. I mean, are you told blasé, or is it just as good tonight?
Oh, I'll end up swearing here.
I was a bit worried then.
The best one. It's 3 in it, 3 in a row. The salary cap brought in, do 3 in a row, it's brilliant. They've been brilliant all year. Been a brilliant team to play in and chopped off in the best possible way. Awesome.
Thanks, Jamie.
He's right. awesome is a very good word to use when you consider the salary cap is brought in not to bring Leeds Rhinos back to the pack, but to try and encourage the other clubs to get up to the Leeds Rhinos standard, Sean. To win it 3 in a row is just the most unbelievable achievement.
Well, it's a phenomenal effort, absolutely phenomenal. You talk about the salary cap, some sides do get punished sometimes because of payments that are due to players and bonuses and all sorts of things, and that tends to sometimes breaks the club up. But the Leeds Rhinos have been particularly good from a business management point of view to be able to maintain this and hold all these players. And they send out the challenges to other teams. They show you what they want to do, how it can be achieved. It's just been a magnificent effort from them tonight. Jamie Peacock, outstanding.
Absolutely. And here's the grand old man. He was around in 1996 when it all kicked off this, and he's here tonight. Well done, Keith Senior with Bill.
Eddie's just mentioned the fact that you were around in 96 when it all started, and the way you're behaving looks as though you'll be around for a while longer.
Oh, superb. I've said all along, you know, age is just a number. You know, 33, but when it comes to stuff like this, you just want to keep going. You know, we had a meeting last night, absolutely superb. You know, it just makes all that season, all the hard work that we're putting worthwhile.
Jamie's just said that this was probably the toughest so far, given that the ball was in play all the time, and it just seemed relentless. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it was an absolute superb game. You know, the ball weren't kicked out that much, you know, and both sides played exceptionally well. You know, Sean Long's kicking game was superb, and their defence, you know, in the first, you know, for the first sets, kept us in his own 20, but, you know, the boys dug deep. Jamie Peacock, you know, his blood turned to water today. Absolutely immense from the big guy.
Well done tonight, Keith. Again.
Thank you, superb, cheers.
Yeah, he loves every minute of it, and so do all of the Leeds Rhinos. They're enjoying this moment with their supporters. And Steve-O mentioned that he wouldn't like to be next door to Brian McLennan at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know which morning he's talking about, because that's interesting. There is Jordan Tansey. Jordan Tansey, who was part and parcel of this Leeds Rhinos club. Now he went to Australia and he's up at Hull. And Jordan Tansey adds his congratulations to Kevin Sinfield and his former teammates. A hat-trick of wins here at Old Trafford. A hat-trick of wins on the bounce for the Leeds Rhinos here at Old Trafford. They are worthy champions in 2009, and we will continue. Well, the Leeds Rhinos have won an epic grand final. They are the champions for the third year in a row. 18 points to 10. Lee Smith saying farewell with 2 tries. Kevin Sinfield, 2 goals, a drop goal, and the tackle of his life to win the Harry Sunderland Award as man of the match. And all the St Helens points scored by Kyle Eastman. I'm delighted to say that the winning coach, Brian McLennan, joins us from pitchside. Brian, you have been a delight to watch tonight. You've enjoyed every minute of that. How are you feeling?
It's hard to describe, Eddie. It's, gee, satisfaction, I guess, is a word. Elated, just for the lads. You know, all I ever wanted to see is to see them smile at the end of the game, and they are. It's fantastic.
It was a difficult game for you because Ali Lauatiti injured very early on. That must have disrupted your plans a little bit.
Yeah, it does, because Ali's just a special player for us. He's a fantastic player, and, you know, we lost a little bit of strike there, but I knew, just believed in the team and their unity and that they would fight hard for one another, and we did, because St Helens were really good tonight, and they made us come out of our end, and we struggled doing it a little bit, really. But I thought it was our tenacity and the way that everyone was working hard for each other that got us through.
279 tries we make it between the two teams, Brian, coming into this match during the course of the season. It was never going to be a try fest. What an effort from the two of you.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, we've got to congratulate both sets of players out there, because it became a war of attrition. It was, you know, it was defence dominated, as finals can be. And both teams just couldn't get to open up because of you know, the good work done by both sets of defences. But I got to plug our lads here. You know, gee, what a special bunch. You know, to go and win 3 in a row and become part of history. You know, it couldn't happen to a better bunch of players, and you know, the coaching staff and everybody involved been fantastic.
Brian, many congratulations. Steve-O has said tonight he wouldn't like to be in the next room to you at 2 a.m. in the morning, but I don't know what morning he's talking about. Enjoy the celebration, Brian. You really deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. He really is a tremendous, tremendous character, Brian McLennan. Let's just relive this epic grand final that we've seen tonight. Phil Clark's down on the touchline. Phil, outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, grand finals tend to be won by magic moments, and Kevin Sinfield came up with the one to win this game here tonight. We often talk about the try scoring, but it is the try saving that so often determines the winners. Look how far he is in field here, he's circled. And the work he does here off the ball when it's gone past him here to stay interested in keeping his team's hopes alive. It's a magnificent effort by St Helens. First in Melly onto Eastwood, but he pushes so hard. And without that effort, I think this trophy could have been going back to St Helens tonight. Deserved winner of the man of the match. It's been a great season for him and the Leeds Rhinos.
Phil, I think you better go home and take a pill or take a dose of something or other. Well done for keeping the voice going.
Thank you, Eddie.
You're early dismissed, so we'll have a look at all the important moments with you, Steve-O, and there are plenty of them.
Yeah, certainly. It was a great game. It was a tough game as well, and opportunities, it came their way sometimes. The defence was getting back. I suppose in many ways you'd think from the kick-off, this is a shocking error from Gardner, and that perhaps tilted the game eventually. The 1 point early in the second half, it's a waste of time, some people call it, but it allowed them to have that lead, got the pressure. And what about this tackle? Ryan Hall got back there. That was shocking from Webb. It didn't surprise me that he was put on report on that one. Barrow went very, very high on Sean Long, and then he got to the situation where they knocked it out. Kieran Cunningham tried to get the ball away, but this was sensational. You talk about a skipper's knock, absolutely superb. There is the kick. I think is offside. Phil Bentham, he's the one that counts. Lee Smith, that sealed it. And then when Barrow said, I'll have an extra one, 18-10. And I think on reflection, you'd have to say that this Leeds outfit thoroughly deserved it, because it was a carbon copy of last year, wasn't it? St Helens, first 30 minutes, had it all under control. They had it same tonight, couldn't finish it off.
No, they couldn't. Leeds did. They won by 18 points to 10. Let's hear from Brian Carney and Sean McRae. Now, Brian, you were at this end. You saw that tackle from Kevin Sinfield. Never mind the tackle to win a grand final. Well, never mind a tackle to win a match, a tackle to win a grand final.
Well, it was a special effort, and he's a special player. I'd like to mention another one that doesn't seem to get the plaudits, Danny Maguire. Everything Danny did tonight had a touch of class about it. He scoops up loose ball, he kicks, he passes, he tackles, he does all these little things, and he's one of these guys that always seems to get to bounce the ball, and I think he came up with some really big plays for Leeds tonight, none more so than the kick he put in. But again, Kevin Sinfield, huge credit for that tackle, and credit Ryan Hall as well, who stopped A.D. Gardner on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to let a winger's tackle go without notice, and well done for that.
No, it's a big effort, and it's again, it's as important as Kevin Sinfield's tackle.
Well, it was 18-10, Sean, in the end, and so we don't really need to dwell on the video referee's decision. It was tight. It looked offside from where we were. 18-10. I suppose really Saints would maybe never have come back anyway, because Leeds had the 1 point advantage.
Well, it was 11-10 when that decision was given. I would never criticise a video referee unless it's an absolutely glaring mistake that we all think. Now, in that situation, I thought he was offside. That's my own personal feeling, but I can understand why it's given. You know, I can understand.
Look at that. There's the line. There's the line. Level in front.
Well,
marginally, but well, according to that, he is offside because his the left-hand side of the circle is on the line.
Yeah, the margins we have now are probably not what the video referee had. I don't know. I don't know if he has that information. I suspect he hasn't at the time that he's making that decision.
No, we've just discovered that tonight.
So,
just now.
You know, you can't criticise that. That's a tough job. Look, I think the real tale of this match was the fact that St Helens started around the ruck very, very quick. Leeds couldn't control it. They were bringing, as Brian McLennan just said, they were struggling to bring the ball out of their own half, and St Helens had field position, territory, and looked good. All of a sudden, they were able to turn that round. A couple of errors from St Helens, better kicking game from Leeds. Perhaps some of the replacements that came on, I thought that young Burgess, I thought Bailey were very good. They sped the game up for the Leeds Rhinos, and I think they were able to maintain that pace. And in the end, that was probably the difference between the two sides.
It was an epic grand final to bring down the curtain on a great season. Leeds were the champions, but two fantastic sides.
Absolutely. I mean, they're here on merit, the two best sides. And I agree with Sean that St Helens did have a lot of pressure. What I don't think they had is a lot of pressure on the Leeds line. Leeds line was rarely challenged, I think. Or wasn't challenged enough in that game to win it. But again, I think Leeds, for the recruitment and retention policy at the club, they're deserved champions.
They don't break the bank for anybody, do they? They do not.
And Kevin Sinfield says that they have to want to play with each other. It's one thing, you know, saying to a player, well, this is the rules. They've got a special set of guys there that want to play with each other. And that's... Jamie Peacock said it very eloquently there at the end of the game, and you know, it's I think it runs throughout the Leeds squad.
He just stopped himself from swearing, thank goodness for that, Jamie Peacock. He never lets us down. The Rugby League never lets us down. The Super League never lets us down. That was an outstanding match. Look at that. He's just run his blood to water, and he's signing autographs for all the fans who have stayed behind. Special game, special people play it, special team has won it tonight. OK, more live action right now. Football, a vital World Cup qualifier for the Republic of Ireland against Italy. That's over on Sky Sports 2. And darts, the World Grand Prix semi-finals are over on Sky Sports 3. The Rugby League hasn't finished, though. No, it hasn't at all. We're back in international mode next week. Wales-England, 6 o'clock. The warm-up to the Four Nations, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 3 and HD3. It is a very special night, grand final night here at Old Trafford. And in the company of these three, it's been a very special night tonight. Well done, the Leeds Rhinos. From all of us here, bye-bye.
So, you're looking for a miracle?
Eastman will go in for the first St Helens try. St Helens leads at Old Trafford.
It's slow when you're looking for a miracle to make something happen. Life is flashing before our eyes like lullabies that end. Just another
It's a gift. It's an absolute gift.
lies, they're gone. Oh, you know that's wrong. So